Chapter 755. That's Ling Xiao. The 10th on the Azure Sky rankings. He looks so young, but he's only a half-step paragon. Someone recognized Ling Xiao's identity. That's Ling Xiao. But if even the Lotus Emperor couldn't break it, how could someone like him, who's only 10th on the Azure Sky rankings? That's right. I'm afraid only paragons, or even titled paragons, can break the second ancient god restriction. I wonder what kind of treasure is in this pocket world. Everyone was discussing fervently, and some of them looked at Ling Xiao with a look of schadenfreude. After all, Ling Xiao was only a half-step paragon. He hadn't even passed the tribulation of Earth, and yet he was already on the Azure Sky rankings. Many of the half-step paragons around him had already passed the tribulation of 2 mammoths and 3 mammoths, so it was only natural that they would be jealous. If I can break this ancient god restriction, I don't want those 3 treasures, but I want something in this pocket world. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the Lotus Emperor. What do you want? The Lotus Emperor also opened his eyes and looked at Ling Xiao with a strange expression. Don't worry. What I want doesn't conflict with what you want. It's just a piece of black bone. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. You know what I want. The Lotus Emperor's eyes flashed with a sharp light as he stared at Ling Xiao. I can't be sure, but I have a guess. Let me give it a try. Ling Xiao said calmly, not giving a direct answer. He walked up to the black rock, and a bright light shot out of his palm. Whiz! It was heaven-devouring true energy, and it contained boundless power that imprinted itself on the black rock. Rumble! The ancient god restriction on the black rock began to tremble, and runes began to intertwine as it resisted the power of the heaven-devouring secret technique. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Even with the power of the King Heaven-Devourer Cauldron, he couldn't break through the ancient god restriction. He guessed that only by breaking through to the 4th level, the heaven-devouring god Sea, would he have a chance. However, Ling Xiao still had the wordless heavenly tome. Whiz! The wordless heavenly book trembled slightly. Suddenly, strands of light spread out and landed in Ling Xiao's palm, merging with the heaven-devouring true qi. After adding the power of the wordless heavenly book, the runes of the heavenly spirit 36 ancient gods instantly melted like snow. Crack! The second layer of the ancient god seal was finally broken. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. Sure enough, he had made the right bet. If it weren't for the power of the wordless heavenly book, he really wouldn't have been able to break this layer of restriction. What? Did he really break it? Everyone was shocked when they saw that the ancient god's seal on the black rock had been broken. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Even the Azure Supreme the Arch, Zhao Ritian, and the others could not do anything about it. Ling Xiao actually managed to break through this layer of restriction. Furthermore, the energy that gushed out from Ling Xiao's palm earlier faintly emitted a vast and terrifying aura, causing them to tremble all over. Fortunately, I did not disappoint you. Ling Xiao glanced at the Lotus Emperor and smiled. All right, come with me. The Lotus Emperor looked at Ling Xiao indifferently. With a wave of his hand, he immediately kept the 3 treasures on the ground. His body turned into a ray of light and instantly entered the small world within the black rock. Ling Xiao's body flashed as he followed in. Long Zhantian, Li Jingming, and the others consciously walked forward to guard the small world. They looked at the surrounding people with warning eyes. Those people left unwillingly. They knew that if there were 2 ancient god seals, there must be extremely powerful treasures in the small world. However, they did not have the guts to follow in. After all, the Lotus Emperor and Ling Xiao were ruthless people who had killed honorable sovereigns. Although they were greedy, they would not risk their lives. Buzz! With a flash of light, Ling Xiao and the Lotus Emperor entered a hazy chaotic void. There was actually nothing in this place. The surrounding was filled with chaotic aura. At a glance, Ling Xiao saw 3 items floating in the void. One of them was a black bone that looked like a baby's arm. As for the other 2 items, they were a green lotus flower and a drop of green blood. The green lotus was shining brightly with chaotic light. It was actually a lotus with 36 petals. As for the drop of green blood, it exuded an aura that made the heavens and earth tremble. I want the black bone. Ling Xiao looked at the Lotus Emperor and said slowly. Aren't you afraid that I will go back on my word? The Lotus Emperor's eyes revealed a strange look. You won't. This is because the descendant of Honorable Green Lotus should be a man of his word. Moreover, the black bone is of no use to you. Only the grade 36 chaotic green lotus and the drop of green lotus divine blood are the most important to you. Ling Xiao said with a smile. How did you know? The Lotus Emperor's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. A terrifying aura surrounded him. The original body of Honorable Green Lotus is very mysterious. No one has ever known about it. However, he was the most powerful person in the world hundreds of thousands of years ago. It is said that he has already ascended to the eternal divine world. However, I know that Honorable Green Lotus did not ascend to the eternal divine world. Instead, he perished together with an extraterrestrial demon. His original body should be the grade 36 chaotic green lotus, right? Ling Xiao sighed softly. His eyes revealed a trace of emotion. He had once seen the news left behind by Honorable Green Lotus on Heaven Road. In his previous life, he had once discovered the place where Honorable Green Lotus had fought in a relic. Therefore, he was very familiar with Honorable Green Lotus. The original body of the most powerful person in the world hundreds of thousands of years ago was the Supreme Divine Medicine, grade 36 chaotic green lotus. After coming to this small world, Ling Xiao finally confirmed that the aura of the Lotus Emperor was exactly the same as that of the grade 36 chaotic green lotus. Therefore, Ling Xiao speculated that the Lotus Emperor should be the descendant of Honorable Green Lotus. I am not the descendant of Honorable Green Lotus. I am the brother of Honorable Green Lotus. The Lotus Emperor sighed softly and said slowly, there are actually two grade 36 chaotic green lotuses. After the death of Sovereign Green Lotus, his body was obtained by someone else and was divided into a grade 12 Blood Lotus, a grade 12 Golden Lotus, and a grade 12 Black Lotus. This grade 36 chaotic green lotus is my body. The Azure the Arch did not hide anything at all and directly revealed such a secretive matter. Although my primordial spirit has been reincarnated into a human, my original body cannot fall into the hands of anyone else. Only after this grade 36 chaotic green lotus is merged with me can I be completely complete and break free from my shackles. The Lotus Emperor glanced at Ling Xiao and said, I do not know the origin of this black bone. However, since Honorable Green Lotus has examined it and placed it in his small world, I will give it to you. Buzz. Chapter 756. Thank you. Ling Xiao took the black bone and heaved a sigh of relief. Ling Xiao, you give me a strange feeling. If I'm not wrong, you should have the grade 12 Blood Lotus, right? The Lotus Emperor looked at Ling Xiao and said slowly. Ling Xiao nodded and admitted, that's right. I snatched the grade 12 Blood Lotus from Ming Zun of the Daming Temple. I can give you a piece of information for free. If you want the complete grade 36 Chaos Green Lotus, this Heaven's Choice Convention is a good opportunity. The grade 12 Golden Lotus is in the hands of Kasyapa. If I'm not wrong, the grade 12 Black Lotus should be in the hands of Leng Yuyu of the Nine Abyss Devil Sect. The Lotus Emperor's eyes revealed a strange look as he said calmly. Ling Xiao was stunned and asked, since this is Prime Green Lotus's original body, don't you want to take it back? Why are you still helping me? Ling Xiao needed the grade 36 Chaos Green Lotus for a great purpose. Although he was tempted by the lotus in front of him, it was the Lotus Emperor's original body. Unless he really wanted to fall out with the Lotus Emperor, he naturally couldn't get it. Ling Xiao was surprised that the Lotus Emperor didn't say anything about taking back Prime Green Lotus's original body. Soul to soul, earth to earth. Death is life, and life is death. When Prime Green Lotus's primordial spirit disappeared, only 3 treasures were left. Prime Green Lotus was no longer Prime Green Lotus. The lotus arch smiled faintly and said something strange. Buzz. A light flashed in the Lotus Emperor's hand, and he instantly kept the green lotus and the drop of green blood. He turned and was about to leave. Before he left, he said to Ling Xiao, "This Heaven's Choice convention won't be simple. Be careful of the War God Temple." With that, the Lotus Emperor turned into a stream of light and left. Be careful of the War God Temple. It seems like the Lotus Emperor knows a lot of information. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he turned and left. "Cousin, what's in this small world? Is there some supreme treasure? Quickly take it out for me to see." Long Outyen said excitedly. "Little money grubber, there's nothing." The Lotus Emperor took all the good things. "If you don't believe me, you can go in and see for yourself." Ling Xiao glared at him in exasperation. The Azure Emperor did not take this small world with him. Instead, Ling Xiao placed it in the Heavenly Divine Stone. The spatial energy in the Heavenly Divine Stone would allow the small world in the Heavenly Divine Stone to grow and complete quickly. Ling Xiao, Taoist Wuliang, and the others returned to the Heaven's Pride Pavilion and booked an exquisite little courtyard to stay in. As the Heaven's Choice Convention approached, more and more people came to Heaven's Choice City. However, Ling Xiao didn't go out. Instead, he stayed in the room and focused on comprehending the Great Fate art. Although he hadn't gained much, Ling Xiao still felt that the Heaven's Fate divination technique was very important to this year's Chosen One. 20 days later, Lu Tongtian brought Lu Jianyi to Heaven's Pride House. Brother, I'll hand my grandson over to you. From now on, you'll be his master. Jianyi, hurry up and acknowledge me as your master." Lu Tongtian smiled at Ling Xiao. At this moment, Lu Jianyi still didn't seem to have any cultivation base. However, Ling Xiao could feel that Lu Jianyi's body seemed to be filled with yin and yang qi. All the meridians in his body were connected. The 9 yin fiend demon body had completely disappeared. It had become the legendary yin-yang sacred body. This kind of peerless body was like Zhao Ritian's sacred body of the sun and Yueshin's sacred body of the great moon. It was even stronger. It was an extreme Tao body. His future achievements were limitless. After hearing Lu Jianyi's name, Taoist Wuliang's eyes revealed a trace of emotion. He finally knew why Ling Xiao wanted to take in a disciple. Disciple Lu Jianyi pays his respects to master. Lu Jianyi knelt down respectfully towards Ling Xiao, kowtowing 3 times and kowtowing 9 times, his face full of gratitude. He also knew that it was Ling Xiao's explosive dendrobium that dissolved his 9 yin fiend demon body. After Lu Jianyi finished his greetings and served tea to Ling Xiao helped Lu Jianyi up and said, "Jianyi, from now on, you are my 4th disciple. There are 3 senior brothers above you and 3 junior brothers below you. You must cultivate diligently in the future. Don't slack off. Do you understand?" "I will remember." Although Lu Jianyi was a little confused, he still said seriously. Other than Taoist Wuliang, everyone else revealed a trace of confusion. They didn't know when Ling Xiao had taken in so many disciples and even fixed their titles. Only Taoist Wuliang knew Ling Xiao's intention. Ling Xiao thought that the 7 disciples were still alive. "Ha ha ha. Little Jianyi, I'm your martial uncle Long Outyen. Call me martial uncle." Long Outyen ran to Lu Jianyi's side and laughed. Lu Jianyi looked about the same age as Long Outyen. They were both 8 or 9 years old. They looked like they were carved from jade and were very cute. However, Lu Jianyi was really only 9 years old. Long Outyen, on the other hand, was stuck in his current state because of his bloodline. "Jianyi greets martial uncle." Lu Jianyi looked at Long Outyen and said seriously, "Why did you add the word little?" Long Outyen was a little depressed. "Ha ha ha, Outyen, because you are the youngest. Look at you now. You are not even as mature as Jianyi. People who don't know would think that Jianyi is your elder brother." Long Zhantian laughed and said. Everyone laughed. Lu Jianyi was obedient and sensible. He instantly gained everyone's favor. Martial uncle it is then. Jenny, follow me from now on. If anyone dares to bully you, martial uncle will help you beat them up. Long Outyen hugged Lu Jianyi's neck and said righteously. Jianyi, come here. This is the secret art of our Changsun sect. You have to cultivate well and comprehend it. Do you understand? Ling Shao called Lu Jianyi over and pointed with his finger. Instantly, a torrent of information merged into Lu Jianyi's sea of consciousness. Ling Shao taught him the eternal supreme scripture. Lu Jianyi's peerless talent was the same as Duge Longcheng's. They were both in the sword Dao. Therefore, Ling Shao hoped that in this life, he could use the eternal supreme scripture to build a good foundation and comprehend the eternal sword Qi. In the future, when he obtained the sword demon supreme scripture and sword god technique, he would be able to merge the three sword arts into one and shine brightly. Thank you, master. Lu Jianyi said respectfully. Rumble. At that moment, an earth-shattering sound rang out. The sky shook and the earth trembled. An aura that caused everyone's heart to palpitate spread out. In the distant sky, an ancient divine mountain seemed to have appeared. On top of the divine mountain, there was a huge cave that spewed out red light. It seemed to lead to the divine world. It emitted an ancient and mysterious aura. Is that the cave of time? The cave of time is open. Someone exclaimed. This news instantly spread throughout the entire Heaven Choice City. Everyone was in an uproar. Chapter 757. Swoosh. 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 Figures with powerful auras instantly soared into the sky and shot towards the primordial divine mountain in the distance. Their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. Countless experts, young geniuses, and old monsters who were nearing the end of their lifespans all rushed towards the time cave. The time cave has opened. It's time for us to move. Daoist Wuyang looked at the primordial divine mountain in the distant void with a strange look in his eyes. Ha ha ha. The chosen one is about to begin. This time, I will also leave my name in the time cave. Long Outyen said with incomparable excitement. At this moment, Long Zhantian's ears twitched. He looked at Long Outyen strangely and said, Father is outside the city. He wants us to rush out of the city to meet him. Long Outyen's body trembled and he became a little listless. Elder Lu, do you want to go to the time cave to take a look too? Ling Shao looked at Lu Tongtian and asked. The time cave? Forget about it, my old bones can't take the torment. I'm relieved to hand Jianyi over to you. However, you must remember to be careful of the War God Temple. Lu Tongtian gave Ling Shao a deep look, then turned and left in a carefree manner. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. Previously, the Time General had told him to be careful of the War God Temple. Emperor Qing and Lu Tongtian had also told him to be careful of the War God Temple. Although he had long known that the War God Temple was not simple, could it be that there would be some changes in this chosen one? However, at this point, Ling Shao could not retreat. No matter what danger there was, it was nothing more than blocking soldiers with arms and water with an earth weir. Jianyi, cultivate well in the celestial stone. If there's anything, send me a message. Ling Shao arranged for Lu Jian to stay in the celestial stone and left him a lot of spiritual stones, spiritual crystals, and pure yang pills. With Lu Jian's 100 opened meridians and the peerless aptitude of the yin-yang sacred body, his cultivation speed would definitely increase by leaps and bounds. Cousin, can you put me in the celestial stone too? If the old man finds out that I snuck out, he will definitely not let me have a good time. Long Outyen looked pitifully at Ling Shao. You know how to be afraid now. It's too late. This time, it will depend on your luck. If Uncle doesn't allow you to enter the time cave, I can't do anything about it. After saying that, Ling Shao grabbed Long Outyen and flew out of Heaven's Choice City with everyone else. Outside the Heaven's Choice City was a vast and mysterious mountain range. It looked like a giant dragon that was tens of thousands of miles long was lying dormant on the earth. The primordial divine mountain in the void and the mysterious cave that was spewing out scarlet light were right above the mountain range. Rumble. In the sky, the wind and clouds changed color. The enormous immemorial divine mountain was connected to the heaven and earth. It was emitting a boundless and ancient aura. If not for the fact that many people knew that the divine mountain was a projection of the time cave, they would have thought that the immemorial divine mountain had truly descended. At the top of the divine mountain, the huge cave gushed with bright light, turning into millions of bright flowers that covered the entire sky. The bright flowers were filled with the chaotic power of time. They were extremely mysterious. Even a supreme being would lose 10,000 years of his life in an instant and turn into a pile of bones if he came into contact with them. Hence, many people had already arrived at the mountain range. When they saw the huge cave in the void, their faces were filled with excitement. However, they did not dare to act rashly. When the bright flowers disappeared and the chaotic power of time dissipated, the time cave would be truly opened. Everyone was waiting. Swoosh! 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 Many figures with powerful auras flew across the sky. They were all supreme geniuses and their eyes were filled with confidence. Is that the sky-burning demon emperor and the Ziwei star? I heard that the sky-burning demon emperor was knocked down from the green cloud ranking. Are they going to seek revenge with the Ziwei star? Someone saw the sky-burning demon emperor, who had red hair flying in the wind and was wearing a red armor, and Ziwei Xingzi, who was wearing a purple robe and shrouded in divine light, like a celestial emperor on an inspection tour, flying across the sky. They occupied a mountain peak and brought along many genius disciples from the Sky Demon Palace and the Star Palace. Very quickly, Leng Yuyu, who was wearing a black robe and a veil, brought along the disciples from the Abyss Demon sect and occupied a mountain peak. However, as Leng Yuyu did not reveal her identity, no one saw her face. Hence, no one knew that she was Leng Yuyu. However, when many people saw the disciples from the Abyss Demon sect, they guessed that she was most likely Leng Yuyu, who was ranked 8th on the Green Cloud ranking. Very quickly, Dugu Shui and Jian Wushuang brought along the disciples from the Dugu family and the Sword God Pavilion. However, what surprised everyone was that Dugu Shui and Jian Wushuang had previously entered the arena of life and death. Why did they come together like good friends? Moreover, the disciples from the Dugu family and the Sword God Pavilion seemed to be getting along well. That's Wang Xiaolong, who is ranked 9th on the Green Cloud ranking and the eldest disciple of the Mad Blade Pavilion. I heard that he is the grandson of the Mad Blade Supreme from 10,000 years ago. He has inherited the legacy of the Mad Blade Supreme. Furthermore, he has the Kunwu Blade Supreme in his hand. He is also a popular candidate. However, why does this fellow look so wretched? Who is that fellow beside him? Two mountains of flesh gathered together. Ha ha ha. I'm dying of laughter. The earth rumbled in the distance. Two fat men who looked like balls walked over together. One was wearing a black robe, while the other was wearing a white robe. Both of them were smiling, and their eyes were almost narrowed into slits. The fat man in the black robe was the eldest disciple of the Mad Blade Pavilion, Wang Xiaolong. He was carried on a bamboo chair by a few disciples of the Mad Blade Pavilion as he walked over proudly. As for the fat man in the white robe, he was also sitting on a bamboo chair. However, he was still holding a roasted lamb leg in his hand. He was eating it happily. If Ling Xiao was here, he would definitely be able to recognize that the fat man in the white robe was Zhu Biao, who he had seen in the Heaven's Pride Pavilion. Zhu Biao had an invincible defense, and even Daoist Wuliang had suffered a loss in his hands. However, he did not expect Wang Xiaolong to walk together with Zhu Biao. The two fat men looked very comical, and people could not help but laugh. Buzz! At this moment, Buddhist chants filled the void. A strange divine rainbow crossed the sky. In the distance, a young monk wearing a moon-white monk robe and straw sandals appeared. His palms were placed together, and he looked like a crown of jade. His entire body emitted a tranquil aura. Behind him, there were more than 10 young monks. They were all chanting scriptures at the same time, and golden lotuses surrounded their bodies. That is Buddha Kasyapa. Someone's body trembled, and he could not help but exclaim. Buddha Kasyapa was the successor of the great Lain temple. He cultivated the Vairocana Sutra, wielded the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda, and had killed 3 supremes. However, some people said that Buddha Kasyapa's cultivation was not weaker than the successor of the war god temple. It was just that he kept a low profile. Moreover, the azure sky ranking was arranged by the war god temple. Naturally, the successor of the war god temple was ranked first. Chapter 758. What's so great about that? Those bald donkeys from the great Thunderclap temple love to play tricks. A group of wise king temple monks dressed in red monk robes were indignant when they saw the commotion caused by Arhat Kasyapa. Arhat Kasyapa is too sanctimonious. I heard that he has a crush on our bright concubine, but she rejected him several times. In the middle of all the monks of Ming Wang Temple, there were pearls and tassels. Golden clouds filled the air. Under a curtain, there was an extremely beautiful woman. She was wearing an extremely luxurious monk robe. Her eyes were filled with endless charm. She glanced at Maha Kasyapa in the distance with a strange look on her face. She was the bright concubine of the wise king temple. There were many bright venerables in the wise king temple, but there was only one bright concubine because she was the most outstanding disciple of the wise king temple. The successor of the war god temple is here. Is the person beside him Murong Xiantian of the Black Heaven sect? I didn't expect Murong Xiantian to be so close to the war god temple. Some people looked away from Arhat Kasyapa in shock. Rumble. In the distance, the sky shook. The successor of the war god temple was enveloped in dazzling divine light. He wore a purple gold armor, and his body was slender and handsome. His entire body exuded a divine aura. He looked flawless and extraordinarily handsome. His skin was as clear as jade, and his eyes were dazzling. He was like a young divine king who would be the center of attention wherever he went. Beside him was a young man dressed in white. He held a white jade ruler and looked elegant and had an extraordinary aura. The young man in white was the most outstanding disciple of the Black Heaven sect, Murong Xiantian, who was ranked 7th on the Azure Cloud ranking. He was chatting happily with the successor of the war god Hall, attracting the gazes of countless young women. Many of the women's hearts were stirred, and their eyes were filled with luster. When Ling Xiao and Taoist Wuliang arrived, they attracted many people's attention. After all, Ling Xiao was the only one who could defeat the sky-burning demon emperor and enter the Azure Cloud ranking. This was especially true for the Phoenix Maiden and the Moon Goddess beside Ling Xiao. They were the goddesses of the Mountain of Flames and the Moon Palace. Their auras were extraordinary, and they were extremely beautiful. Many people were envious and jealous of them. Ling Xiao, that bastard. I'll kill him in the chosen convention. The sky-burning demon emperor looked at Ling Xiao, and his eyes were about to spit fire. Brother Fan Tian, you don't have to worry. I heard that Ling Xiao even offended the successor of the war god shrine. He has offended quite a number of people. My Star Palace, Nantian aristocratic family, Emperor Tomb Mountain, Sky Demon Palace. Which one of them doesn't want his life? I heard that this time, the various holy lands have sent out many old monsters who are nearing the end of their lifespans. No matter what, they must take Ling Xiao's life. The Ziwei Star's eyes glinted as he spoke faintly. Humph, this brat deserves to die. The sky-burning demon emperor snorted coldly. Ling Xiao naturally noticed the sky-burning demon emperor's angry gaze, but he ignored him. This was because the Dragon King, Long Lai, was sitting cross-legged on a mountain peak in the distance. His body was emitting a mysterious aura, as if no one had noticed him. Ling Xiao could faintly sense that there were many sovereign experts around the mountain range. However, they were all hiding their tracks and did not show themselves. After all, many genius disciples had come for the chosen convention. In order to prevent the other sects from killing their own geniuses, they naturally had to send sovereign experts to protect them. The moon goddess returned to the disciples of the lunar palace, while Ling Xiao and the others walked towards Long Lai. Outyen, you're too much. How dare you sneak out again? Long Lai glared at Long Outyen. Long Outyen immediately shrunk his neck and stood there obediently in fear. Although this kid usually called him an old man, when he was in front of Long Lai, he was definitely an obedient child. Father, let me enter the time cave. Don't worry, I'll listen to my elder brother and cousin. I won't run around. Long Outyen immediately pleaded. It's not impossible for you to enter the time cave. Long Lai did not object. He pondered for a moment and said slowly. Really? Thank you, father. Thank you. Long Outyen's eyes revealed a trace of surprise as he quickly said. Ling Xiao and Long Zhantian were also a little surprised. Long Lai had previously forbidden Long Outyen from entering the time cave. They did not expect that he would agree to let Long Outyen enter the time cave. There are some things that we have to face in the end. Long Lai sighed and his eyes revealed a trace of emotion. Buzz! A light flashed in Long Lai's hand and an ancient map appeared. Ling Xiao, this is a map. There is an inheritance left behind by the ancestors of the dragon tribe. Only Outyen's bloodline has the qualifications to obtain the inheritance. Previously, I was afraid that Outyen would be in danger. However, now that Outyen has sneaked out, it seems like it's fate. Long Lai said slowly. The inheritance left behind by the ancestors of the dragon tribe? Father, what kind of inheritance is it? Is it a supreme martial technique or a peerless divine weapon? Long Outyen's eyes suddenly lit up and he quickly asked with incomparable excitement. I'm not very sure. You'll know when the time comes. Long Lai's eyes were somewhat gloomy and he did not directly answer. Oh. Long Outyen nodded. Long Lai handed the map to Ling Xiao and asked him to find a way to help Long Outyen obtain the inheritance in the time cave. Ling Xiao agreed. He guessed that the inheritance was definitely not a small matter. Moreover, looking at Long Lai's expression, there should be some hidden secrets. The top 10 geniuses of the Green Cloud Roll, except for the 3rd-ranked Emperor Qing and the 5th-ranked Duan Wuji, had all arrived. Moreover, there were many hidden ancient clans and genius experts of large sections. There were even some powerful geniuses that had never appeared before. In this mountain range, there was an incomparably powerful aura that intertwined and exuded an incomparably powerful aura. They were all waiting for the time cave to open. For example, Zhu Biao and the mysterious Qing Yun that Ling Xiao had seen in the Heaven's Pride Pavilion had already arrived. Rumble. At that moment, the heavens and earth shook violently. Purple lightning filled the void and accompanied by streaks of green sword radiance, as if it had cut open the chaos. It was incomparably terrifying. Emperor Qing, don't go too far. An icy cold voice rang out, and it contained suppressed anger. Boom! A young man wearing a purple robe and holding a purple gold divine spear flew through the sky. Blazing lightning surrounded his body and he looked dignified and mysterious, like a god of thunder. He and another figure collided head-on. Instantly, the two of them flew backwards at the same time. Lightning blazed in the void and streaks of sharp sword radiance filled the air. The other figure appeared. It was the handsome and mysterious Emperor Qing in a green robe. Emperor Qing is fighting with Duan Wuji. What's going on? Suddenly, everyone's eyes flashed and they revealed a trace of shock. The young man wearing a purple robe and holding a purple gold divine spear was the descendant of Kunlun Mountain, the 5th-ranked Duan Wuji on the Green Cloud Roll. Chapter 759. Boom! Emperor Qing's fingers were like swords. His eyes were extremely sharp. A sword light filled with chaotic colors shot through the air, heading straight for Duan Wuji's forehead. Clang! Duan Wuji jumped into the air like a monkey. The purple gold divine spear in his hand swept out in all directions. Dazzling lights exploded but they were all destroyed by the primal chaos sword chi. In the end, The primal chaos sword chi collided with the spear, creating a metallic sound and sparks flying everywhere. Duan Wuji's arm went numb, and the purple gold divine spear almost flew out of his hand. He stared coldly at Emperor Qing and said, "Emperor Qing, are you crazy? That girl has nothing to do with you. Do you really think I'm afraid of you?" The azure the arch flew across the sky, stepping on the chaos. Around him were green lotuses. His eyes were filled with murderous intent as he said, "Everyone in the world cares about the world. You actually killed an innocent girl and extracted her primordial spirit for the sake of martial arts cultivation. Today, you must pay the price." Emperor Qing struck out with his palm. Chaotic chi filled the air, and a green lotus bloomed behind him. Green sword chi condensed and rose into the air, forming a green lotus sword array that fell towards Duan Wuji. "Emperor Qing, don't slander me. That girl was a disciple of Kunlun Mountain. She betrayed her sect, so I'm just cleaning her up. Purple heaven godly thunder, kill." A cold light flashed in Duan Wuji's eyes. He shouted loudly, and the violet gold divine spear in his hand pierced through the void. A terrifying light erupted, and the worldly dharma was activated. Suddenly, the void shook, and purple lightning fell from the sky. Boom boom boom. The green lotus sword array and the purple heaven thunder collided, and a shocking divine light swept out in all directions. Cracks appeared in the air, as if it couldn't withstand this terrifying power. According to Emperor Qing's words, Duan Wuji is actually killing innocent people for the sake of cultivation. How is he different from an evil demon? Someone's eyes flashed, and he said with some surprise. "Shoo, quiet. Is Duan Wuji someone you can talk about? He is a peerless genius ranked 5th on the honor roll of Green Cloud. The strength of Kunlun Mountain is unfathomable. If you offend them, it will be hard for you to die even if you want to," someone quickly warned. "Emperor Qing is just a rogue cultivator. I didn't expect him to hate evil so much. He doesn't look like a heaven's chosen warrior who kills decisively. Instead, he looks like a Jianghu swordsman from the secular world." How naive. Yes. Not to mention that Duan Wuji killed an innocent girl, even if he killed 10 or 100 people, with his identity as the first disciple of Kunlun Mountain, who would dare to stop him? Emperor Qing is still too young. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Some people were not optimistic about this battle. After all, a supreme being expert had come from the faraway Kunlun Mountain. He seemed to be the vice leader of Kunlun Mountain, and his cultivation was unfathomable. These people are really cold-blooded. The Azure Supreme the Arch saw injustice on the road, and these people actually thought that the Azure Supreme the Arch was meddling in other people's business? If one day, their children and relatives were killed, would they still have this attitude? The Phoenix Maiden sneered. Exactly. That Duan Wuji looks like a show-off, comparable to that Zhao Ritian. But one look and you can tell that he's a hypocrite. He keeps saying that he's cleaning up the sect. Bah! A bellyful of thieves and prostitutes. I don't think Kunlun Mountain is anything good. Long Outyen said in a displeased tone. Purple Heavenly Thunder. Kunlun Mountain's Purple Heavenly Sutra seems to have opened up a new path. It is indeed extraordinary. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he looked at the Purple Heavenly Thunder that Duan Wuji used. The Purple Heavenly Thunder looked very extraordinary. It was like a heavenly tribulation, containing the power of law. It was different from the Purple Heavenly Thunder that Ling Zhao had obtained. Ling Zhao was somewhat interested in the Purple Heavenly Sutra of Kunlun Mountain. In Ling Zhao's eyes, Duan Wuji's strength was indeed very strong, but he should not be Emperor Qing's opponent. The top 3 of the honor roll, the successor of the War God Temple, Buddhist Kasyapa, and Emperor Qing. These 3 people were unfathomable. Ling Zhao felt that if he faced them now, he would not be confident. As for the others, even Dugu Shui, who was 4th on the honor roll, Ling Zhao was confident that he could defeat him. Kill. The purple gold divine spear in Duan Wuji's hand was Kunlun Mountain's famous supreme weapon, the Draining Spring Divine Spear. It was said that it had been bathed in the blood of the gods, and the divine spear had a spirit. When Duan Wuji was born, it had recognized him as its master. At this moment, Duan Wuji and the draining spring divine spear were one. Their bodies were covered in purple heavenly thunder as they fought fiercely with Emperor Qing. Emperor Qing was still confident and at ease. He fought empty-handed. Chaotic chi surrounded him, and he was enveloped in a green glow. He was like an immortal, aloof and otherworldly. Emperor Qing and Duan Wuji were both extremely fast. They crisscrossed in the void, leaving behind afterimages. Bang! Emperor Qing's fist broke through the layers of purple heavenly thunder and landed on the draining spring divine spear. It was like a muffled explosion of thunder. It looked like a light punch, but it seemed to contain a great amount of power. It shook Duan Wuji's arm, and the draining spring divine spear almost flew out of his hand. Buzz! The draining spring divine spear trembled in the void. Ripples spread out and pushed Emperor Qing away. At the same time, the tip of the spear flashed with a dazzling light. It pierced through the void and pierced towards Emperor Qing's forehead. Emperor Qing's expression did not change. He stretched out two jade-like fingers and caught the draining spring divine spear. Chaotic chi filled the air. Emperor Qing's fist landed on the draining spring divine spear. Whoosh! The draining spring divine spear was like a beautiful ray of light. It flew into the distance and destroyed a mountain in the distance. Emperor Qing pointed at Duan Wuji's forehead. His finger was crystal clear, slender, and perfect. It looked like a woman's finger, but it contained a sharp light that could pierce through everything. Duan Wuji's expression changed drastically. He felt an intense sense of danger. He quickly retreated, and at the same time, he threw out a palm to neutralize that finger. Puff! There was a flash of blood. The heavenly thunder of purple cloud in Duan Wuji's palm exploded. Emperor Qing's fingers stabbed into Duan Wuji's palm. Blood splattered everywhere. The blazing sword light intertwined as if it wanted to crush Duan Wuji's palm. Duan Wuji groaned and flew back. At the same time, the draining spring divine spear returned to his hand. Duan Wuji was injured. Everyone was shocked. They couldn't believe it. Although Emperor Qing was ranked 3rd and Duan Wuji was ranked 5th, the top 10 geniuses of the Green Cloud ranking were all top geniuses of the world. They were all half-step supremes of the 4 divine tribulations. The difference between them should be very small. No one had thought that Duan Wuji would suffer at the hands of Emperor Qing so quickly. Whoosh! Just as Duan Wuji was flying through the air and a palm blade was about to strike him, the Supremes of Kunlun Mountain moved. Rumble. Chapter 760. Emperor Qing, do you really think that there is no one in Kunlun Mountain? An indifferent voice exploded in the void, causing everyone's ears to ring and their eyes to tremble. 9th level Supreme Realm. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he recognized that the Supreme Being of Kunlun Mountain was already at the peak of the Supreme Realm. You beat up the young one and the old one intervened? Kunlun Mountain is really shameless. Emperor Qing said indifferently as a sharp light shot out from his eyes. He didn't dodge and faced the Supreme Being of Kunlun Mountain with a palm strike. Boom! It was as if a divine sun had exploded as a bright light spread out. Emperor Qing's body shook violently as he was sent flying. The light dispersed, revealing an old man with white hair and beard. He wore a white robe. His face was dignified, and his eyes flickered. His entire body emitted an aura that caused the world to tremble. He was the vice sect master of Kunlun Mountain, outer space. What shocked everyone was that the vice sect master outer space was an expert at the peak of the Supreme Realm. Emperor Qing only suffered a small loss from his palm strike and was able to retreat unscathed. He was just a half-step Supreme Realm with the tribulation of 4 symbols, but he had such terrifying combat strength. Who was Emperor Qing? Many people were interested in this. Even the descendant of the war god temple and Buddha Kasayapa's eyes flashed as they looked at Emperor Qing. Especially the descendant of the war god temple, he didn't hide the strong battle intent in his eyes. Young man, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you have some strength. If you don't enter the supreme realm, you will always be an ant. You are just a big ant now. Outer space looked at Emperor Qing coldly and said, if I don't enter the supreme realm, I will always be an ant. I don't see how strong a supreme realm is. I don't even know how many supreme realm experts have died in my hands. Do you want to try? Emperor Qing's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Young man, you don't know how to restrain yourself. Today, I will teach you a lesson on behalf of your elders. Outer space said coldly with a trace of cold killing intent in his eyes. Duan Wuji was the most outstanding disciple of Kunlun Mountain, but he was defeated by Emperor Qing so quickly. This showed how terrifying Emperor Qing was. If Duan Wuji had met Emperor Qing in the time cave, he might have died at Emperor Qing's hands. Therefore, the Space Emperor was willing to put aside his pride and attack Emperor Qing. He wanted to get rid of such a big threat for Duan Wuji. Rumble. A terrifying aura emanated from the body of the Heavenly King. The power of a peak supreme being erupted, causing the surrounding area to tremble. It was as if there were thunderbolts lingering in the air. The Azure Emperor's eyes flashed with sharpness. The powerful qi around him intertwined, and streams of chaotic qi filled the air. It was as if he was preparing for a shocking attack. Moreover, Ling Xiao felt that the current Emperor Qing was even more powerful than the Emperor Qing he had met in Heaven Choice City. He was even more unfathomable. It was probably because the Azure the Arch had refined the original body of the rank 36 chaotic green lotus and the drop of green lotus divine blood. He looked perfect and flawless, as if he could become a paragon at any time. An oppressive aura spread out. It was as if an earth-shattering battle was about to break out between the Azure the Arch and outer space. Wang! At that moment, a faint light permeated the air above. The mysterious hole spewed out multicolored light, appearing dazzling. A figure shrouded in white light slowly emerged. No one could see his face clearly. He exuded a mysterious fluctuation of the cycle of time. It was as if he was a god that controlled time. The moment he appeared in the air, everyone was shocked. They couldn't help but raise their heads. The Divine General of Time. Ling Xiao was shocked. He didn't expect to meet the Divine General of Time here. Everyone, welcome to the Cave of Time. The Divine General of Time's voice was faint. It was as if he didn't exist in this time and space. There was an ethereal and mysterious fluctuation in his voice. The once-in-a-thousand years Heaven's Choice Convention is about to begin. I am the host of this convention. You can call me the Divine General of Time. Everyone in the mountain range, except for the successor of the War God Hall, was shocked and expectant. Especially Long Lai, whose eyes were filled with sharpness. He said slowly, this Divine General of Time is not simple. He actually comprehended a trace of the essence of the flow of time. Perhaps he already has the combat strength of a titled Supreme Being. The combat strength of a titled Supreme Being? Perhaps. Ling Xiao nodded. Shura Sek's Grand Elder Luo Feng was already a 9th-level Supreme Being, but he was still killed by the Divine General of Time in an instant. If he didn't have the combat strength of a titled Supreme Being, he wouldn't have been able to do so. However, the Divine General of Time gave Ling Xiao a strange feeling. He looked like an extremely ordinary Supreme Being, but from the way he killed Divine General Wu Chang and Grand Elder Luo Feng, he was definitely a peerless ruthless person. Just like the previous Heaven's Choice Convention, the Cave of Time is an ancient small world. The location of the Heaven's Choice Convention is in the depths of the Cave of Time, the Shrine of Time. A year later, the Shrine of Time will open and the Heaven's Choice Convention will officially begin. So I hope everyone can reach the Shrine of Time in a year. Those who don't reach the Shrine of Time or lose their lives will lose the qualifications to participate in the Heaven's Choice Convention. The Divine General of Time said slowly. Light scattered from his hand and instantly, streams of light fell between everyone's eyebrows. He clearly explained the rules and the situation of the Heaven's Choice Convention. In fact, there weren't any changes to the content. The Heaven's Choice Convention was held once every 1,000 years. Every time, it would be held in the Cave of Time. Therefore, many supreme beings of martial holy lands had already told the disciples of their sects about the Heaven's Choice Convention. However, the Cave of Time was filled with dangers. Wanting to reach the Shrine of Time in a year's time wasn't an easy task. All kinds of accidents could happen. Moreover, everyone who entered the Cave of Time was randomly teleported. Perhaps some people were lucky and were close to the Shrine of Time, but some people were unlucky and were directly teleported into those dangerous places. In the Cave of Time, not only were there powerful ancient vicious beasts and extraterrestrial demons, but it was also said that ancient races lived in the Cave of Time. They were very repulsed by these outsiders. The Cave of Time could be said to be a complete world. It was incomparably vast. Many people guessed that the Cave of Time might not be smaller than the War God continent. It was just that many people hadn't explored it completely. However, there were many inheritances of ancient powerhouses in the Cave of Time. Not only were there inheritances of supreme beings and titled supreme beings, there were even inheritances of gods. Therefore, the most important reason that attracted countless geniuses of the War God continent to participate in the Heaven's Choice Convention was the inheritances and good fortune in the Cave of Time. Chapter 761. Ling Zhao's eyes flickered. He hadn't expected that the Divine General of Time would be presiding over the Heavenly Choice meeting. Perhaps some of his doubts would be verified by the Divine General of Time during the meeting. Rumble. The primordial divine mountain in the sky began to tremble. The mysterious cave gushed with multicolored light as countless time petals bloomed and emitted an extremely dazzling light. That chaotic energy slowly calmed down, and the Time Moon Cave finally opened. The Time Cave has opened. Let's go. The eyes of many geniuses instantly turned red as they soared into the sky and charged towards the Time Cave. According to legend, the flow of time within the Time Cave was different from the flow of time in the outside world. There were all sorts of miraculous things about it. Many old freaks who were nearing the end of their lifespans also intended to enter the Time Cave to see if they could find any heaven-defying treasures to increase their lifespans. There were actually hundreds of thousands of geniuses at the foot of the mountain range. All of them were at the noble realm and monarch realm. All of them were waiting for this moment. Swoosh! Swoosh! Let's go! A trace of anticipation appeared in Taoist Wu Yang's eyes. Alright, all of you enter my Sky God's Stone. The Sky God's Stone is a divine artifact. It should be able to resist the power of the Time Cave's formation. That way, we won't have to be separated once we enter the Time Cave. Ling Xiao said slowly. The Time Cave was filled with danger. Moreover, the way to enter the Time Cave was to be randomly teleported. The Time Cave was such a huge world that it would be extremely difficult to reunite once they were teleported to the ends of the world. Many geniuses from the martial Dao Holy Lands activated their spatial treasures and sent their disciples into them. After that, they flew onto the time petals and entered the Time Cave. Taoist Wu Yang, Yuan Wan, Yueshen, Phoenix Maiden, Long Zhantian, Long Outyan, Li Jingming, and Lin Hui were all sent into the Sky God's Stone. Wang! Ling Xiao soared up into the sky. Suddenly, a time flower petal slowly bloomed. The sparkling and translucent petals wrapped around Ling Xiao. Resplendent light filled the air. It was like the chi of ascension, pure and ethereal, extremely mysterious. Ling Xiao could sense that the surrounding light was flashing. Mysterious law threads interweaved and instantly wrapped around him, sending him into the Time Cave. Hundreds of thousands of martial artists soared into the sky at the same time. They were enveloped by the time flower petals and entered the Time Cave. This scene was incomparably spectacular. In the surroundings of the Time Cave, a terrifying aura pervaded the air as numerous powerful figures appeared. These were all Supreme Being experts from the various martial Dao Holy Lands. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. They wondered how many Supreme Being geniuses would emerge in this Heaven's Choice convention. The Heaven's Choice meeting would last for a long time, so they weren't in a hurry. They just surrounded the time cave and sat cross-legged in the void. Mysterious Supreme Tao marks filled the air, incomparably powerful. Let's hope that everything goes well. A sliver of worry appeared in Long Lai's eyes. He slowly closed his eyes and disappeared into the void. Time cave. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the middle of the time flower petals. Mysterious laws pervaded the air, but Ling Xiao's heart shook. He could feel that the Heaven's Fate art had begun to operate in a strange state in such a state. The 160 ancient runes floated out of Ling Xiao's body and coiled around him. Mysterious aura interweaved between them and the surrounding law threads pervaded the air. This allowed Ling Xiao's comprehension of the Heaven's Fate art to increase rapidly. Observing the Tao of Heaven, holding the Tao of Heaven, a mysterious fluctuation spread out in Ling Xiao's heart. The 160 ancient runes seemed to have transformed into a mysterious armor that was instantly imprinted on Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Unfortunately, this state was too short. Light flashed in front of Ling Xiao's eyes and he had already entered the time cave. His comprehension of the Heaven's Fate art was interrupted. This was a valley shrouded in clouds and mist. In front of them was a misty lake. It looked very calm and peaceful with mist lingering around it. The surroundings were towering mountains that pierced through the clouds. They were majestic and exuded an ancient and desolate aura. The sky was very high and blue. Warm sunlight shone down from the 9 heavens. It was clean and peaceful, as if it was a mythical world. The air contained an incomparably majestic and pure spiritual energy. With a slight breath, one could feel all the pores on one's body open up. It was very comfortable. There were all kinds of strange flowers and herbs around the lake. At a glance, they were all precious spiritual herbs that had grown for hundreds or thousands of years. There were even a few king herbs in the distance that were exuding spiritual energy. Buzz! Taoist Wuliang and the others instantly came out of the heavenly stone. Is this the world in the time cave? It looks very peaceful. There's no danger. Long Outyan's eyes darted around as he looked around and smiled. Roar! However, as soon as his voice fell, a loud beast roar came from the mountain range in the distance. The roar was like thunder and was extremely terrifying. Moreover, a ferocious and monstrous aura pervaded the air. It's the aura of an immemorial beast. Could there really be a complete immemorial beast here? Long Zhantian's eyes revealed a trace of dignified look. Just now, the roar of the beast made him feel a kind of frightened feeling. The world in the time cave is not simple. Not only are there immemorial beasts, but there are also ancient races. They are very resistant to outsiders. Everyone better be careful. Taoist Wuliang's eyes revealed a trace of light as he slowly said. We are 5 million miles away from the Time Temple where the Heaven's Choice Convention will be held. It's not too far nor too close. If we want to cross this unfamiliar world in a year, everyone should be careful. Ling Xiao looked at the information left behind by the Time God General and said slowly. Everyone had a location in the Time Temple that guided everyone's direction and actions. Rumble. At this moment, the calm lake in front of them suddenly fluctuated violently. Endless mist rose and the lake water turned into mist. An incomparably huge beast rushed out of the lake. Roar! A deafening roar came head-on. The ferocious and monstrous aura made everyone's expression change. Chapter 762. In front of them, the endless lake water evaporated and dried up in an instant. A huge black snake that was thousands of feet long rushed out from the lake. It had only one head but 2 bodies. Its body was covered with black scales. It raised its flat head and stuck out its huge forked tongue. Its pair of blood-red moon-like eyes were filled with coldness and bloodlust. This is, the primordial variant Fei? Lin Hui was shocked and could not help but exclaim. The strange snake in front of them, with only one head and 2 bodies, seemed to be able to devour all the vitality. The surrounding land began to dry up at a speed visible to the naked eye. The exotic flowers and plants were also sucked out of their vitality and turned into dust. This was the primordial variant Fae. Judging from its aura, it was not far from the demon venerable realm. Roar, the Fae roared. Suddenly, it spat out a mouthful of stinky liquid toward the crowd. Disperse. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he flew up into the sky. The real devouring fire spread out from his body and burned the liquid into ashes in an instant. Boom! Ling Xiao threw out a punch and a terrifying fist radiance burst out. It was mixed with the sound of a dragon's roar and aimed directly at the Fae's eyes. The Fae seemed to be angry. Its whole body trembled violently. Its black scales clanged and swept across the sky. Its huge snake tail was like a blade, slashing toward Ling Xiao. Clang! Sparks flew in all directions. Ling Xiao's punch hit the snake's tail. Suddenly, several black scales were smashed and blood spread out. Roar, roar, roar. The Fae was in great pain and seemed to have completely gone berserk. Black demonic chi gushed out from its body. It contained a force that could devour heaven and earth. It seemed to be able to devour all the energy and shrouded the crowd. Let's kill this Fae together. Long Zhantian's eyes flashed and a golden ancient sword appeared in his hand. His whole body was full of dragon power and he slashed toward the Fae. Rumble. Taoist Wuliang, Li Jingming, Lin Hui, the Moon Goddess and the Phoenix Girl all launched attacks and displayed their peerless killing power toward the Fae. Although the Fae was very strong and was a primordial variant, it was no match for Ling Xiao and the others. It was quickly killed and blood splattered everywhere. It did not even have the chance to escape. The Fae is a supreme delicacy and is very nutritious. Ha ha ha, you are all in luck. Taoist Wuliang's eyes lit up. He rushed up to collect the Fae's body and said with a complacent smile. Rumble. However, as soon as he finished speaking, the ground began to tremble. In the distant mountain peak, the roars of beasts shook the sky. A group of extremely terrifying auras were rushing over at lightning speed, the Fae's blood. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He hurriedly retracted his aura and flew into the distance. Behind them, there was a huge flaming lion, a huge tiger that was dozens of feet tall, an ape that beat its chest with its arms, and a huge black bear. The ground was filled with smoke and dust. A group of ferocious beasts was chasing after Ling Xiao and the others. Those ferocious beasts were at least at the demon royal realm. Many of them were half-step demon venerables. Ling Xiao even sensed that a few of the leading ferocious beasts were at the demon venerable realm. They were extremely terrifying. A group of primordial ferocious beasts rushed out from the mountains. Ling Xiao and the others killed the Fae. It was like poking a hornet's nest, causing a group of primordial ferocious beasts to riot. Rumble. The ground shook and the mountains trembled. Countless towering ancient trees were smashed into pieces. Rocks flew everywhere. Everything in front of them was smashed into pieces. Ling Xiao and the others were in a very difficult situation. They ran for thousands of miles before they got rid of the group of ferocious beasts. We are too big of a target if we stay together. Let's split up. Taoist Wuliang said slowly. His eyes flashed. All right. This Suiyu cave is indeed very strange. Everyone must be careful. Ling Xiao and the others discussed for a while. Everyone nodded in agreement. In the end, Taoist Wuliang left with Yuan Wan. It was said that he wanted to find an opportunity for Yuan Wan to improve her cultivation. Ling Xiao knew Taoist Wuliang's nature, so he was not worried about him. Lin Hui, Li Jingming, and Long Zhantian all chose to leave alone. Lin Hui's feelings towards Ling Xiao were very complicated. He was grateful and jealous. He was naturally very happy to not see Ling Xiao and the Phoenix Girl together. Li Jingming and Long Zhantian also wanted to explore the Suiyu cave to find an opportunity to pass the tribulation of the four symbols and improve their cultivation. In the end, only Ling Xiao, the moon goddess, the phoenix girl and Long Outyen were left. Cousin, where are we going now? Long Outyen blinked his big eyes. He was full of curiosity about everything around him. He also wanted to leave alone, but he knew that Ling Xiao would definitely not let him go alone. So he could only resentfully give up. The map that your father gave you shows that the place of inheritance of the Dragon Clan ancestor is in a mountain range 100,000 miles away from here. It's in the same direction as the Suiyu Temple. Let's go there and take a look. Ling Xiao took out the map that Long Lai gave him and said slowly after glancing at it. The inheritance of the Dragon Clan ancestor? Ha ha ha. Let's go. Could it be that the Dragon Clan ancestor had already become a god? I wonder if he left me a supreme divine weapon or a peerless divine skill. Long Outyen's eyes lit up as he said excitedly. Why are you so talkative? We'll know when we get there. Ling Xiao glared at him helplessly. Long Outyen was like a child with ADHD. He could not stay still for even a moment. If not for Long Lai's instructions, Ling Xiao really wanted to throw him to Long Zhantian. Whoosh! Ling Xiao took Long Outyen, the moon goddess and the phoenix girl. They instantly restrained their auras and carefully flew up into the sky towards the location on the map. In the sky above the Suiyu cave, there were powerful flying beasts. Moreover, all of them were ancient variants. They were very terrifying. This place was like a forgotten mythical world. It was full of a desolate and ancient aura. This mountain range was very vast. Many divine mountains soared into the sky. They were tens of thousands of feet high. They were majestic and magnificent. Countless fierce beasts were roaring in them. Ling Xiao even saw some unlucky warriors who happened to descend into the mountain range. They were torn to pieces by a group of fierce beasts. Their miserable howls before they died were very horrifying. Not only on the ground, even the sky was not safe. Chapter 763. Just like that, Ling Xiao and the other three flew dangerously for 100,000 miles. After a day, they finally arrived at the location marked on the map. Is this the place? This looks like a barren mountain. There's nothing here. Long Outyen's eyes widened as he said doubtfully. In front of Ling Xiao and the other three were a few barren mountains. They seemed to be thousands of feet tall, and there was no vegetation. Moreover, there was a blazing aura that seemed to be able to burn everything. The further they walked, the more Ling Xiao saw a sea of lava flowing in the valley. The walls on both sides of the valley were sparkling like jade. There's someone there. Phoenix Maiden's eyes flashed as she pointed ahead. There were many cultivators at the edge of the sea of lava. They seemed to be carefully searching for something. Those cultivators were all Monarch Realm cultivators, but they didn't dare to get close to the sea of lava. It was as if they would be swallowed by the lava if they weren't careful. When Ling Xiao and the other three arrived at the entrance of the valley, they saw 4 young monks in red robes. They were all half-step honorable martial artists. They were guarding the entrance of the valley, and their eyes were shining brightly. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. These people were actually monks from Ming Wang Temple. Why is Ming Wang Temple guarding this valley? According to the map that Long Lai gave Ling Xiao, the inheritance of the dragon tribe's ancestor was in this valley. It seemed like they would have to clash with Ming Wang Temple if they wanted to obtain the inheritance. Ling Xiao and the other three didn't hide their tracks in front of the valley. They were instantly discovered by the 4 monks from Ming Wang Temple. Who are you people? What are you trying to do by sneaking around? One of the monks from Ming Wang Temple shouted coldly, his eyes filled with coldness. They obviously didn't recognize Ling Xiao, Phoenix Maiden, and the others. Their eyes were filled with coldness. When their gazes landed on the Phoenix Lady and the Moon Goddess, they couldn't move their gazes away. Moon Goddess and Phoenix Maiden. One was like a goddess from the Moon Palace, otherworldly and otherworldly. The other was a peerless beauty. She exuded endless charm and was extremely beautiful. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to resist them. The 4 monks from Ming Wang Temple looked at the moon goddess and the phoenix maiden with undisguised passion in their eyes. Ladies, I see that both of you are fated with Buddhism. Why don't you convert to Buddhism and join the Ming Wang Temple? Then, you can share nirvana with us. What do you think? One of the monks from Ming Wang Temple smiled and gave the other 3 a look. Instantly, they walked up and surrounded Ling Xiao and the other 3. Ling Xiao was stunned. Was this monk from Ming Wang Temple a monk or a pervert? How could he be so impatient to reveal his true face? Phoenix Maiden and Moon God's faces turned cold. Scram! The Phoenix woman's temper was the most explosive. She immediately frowned and shouted coldly. This little girl's temper is really fiery. But Lord Zeng likes little chilies like you the most. Come with Lord Zeng obediently. Otherwise, don't blame Lord Zeng for using force. One of the monks from Ming Wang Temple chuckled. His eyes were filled with evil intentions. Ling Xiao, the Phoenix Maiden, and the Moon Goddess had concealed their auras. At this moment, their auras were extremely weak. They hadn't even reached the monarch realm. Therefore, the 4 monks from Ming Wang Temple were extremely arrogant. It was as if they thought that the Phoenix Maiden and the Moon Goddess were already theirs. Masters, are you trying to rape them? They are my cousin's wives. My cousin won't be happy if you do this. Long Outyen stood up and blinked his eyes innocently as he spoke. The Moon Goddess and the Phoenix Maiden's eyes were filled with murderous intent. They stared at the 4 monks from Ming Wang Temple as if they were going to kill them in the next moment. Your cousin. Ha ha ha. Little girl, how can you be happier with your cousin than with us? Lord Zeng is in a good mood today. I don't feel like killing anyone. You and your cousin can scram. Leave these 2 ladies behind. One of the monks from Ming Wang Temple sneered. Masters, you're all monks. Aren't you afraid that you'll tarnish the reputation of Ming Wang Temple by kidnapping innocent women? Long Outyen pretended to be angry and said. Tarnish the reputation of Ming Wang Temple. Ha ha ha. Little girl, since you're asking for death, don't blame Lord Zeng for it. As long as I kill all of you, who will know that I've kidnapped innocent women? The monk from Ming Wang Temple glared at Ling Xiao and Long Outyen coldly as he walked towards them. Ling Xiao shook his head. He could not be bothered to continue the pretense with them. Ming Wang Temple is indeed a bunch of filthy scumbags, he said flatly. They are indeed a bunch of lecherous scumbags. However, since you've offended me today, don't blame me for cleaning up the mess on behalf of your Buddha. Boom! A powerful aura emanated from Ling Xiao's body. He punched out and a terrifying fist glow instantly suppressed the 4 monks from Ming Wang Temple. Sensing the terrifying aura from Ling Xiao, the 4 monks from Ming Wang Temple were shocked. They knew that they had messed with someone they could not afford to offend. They hurriedly said, Sir, please stop. We were just joking with you. Let's talk things through. Talk your ass off. Long Outyen sneered and punched one of the monks from Ming Wang Temple. The dragon's aura around him was majestic and his fist glow was unparalleled. Swoosh! Phoenix Lady and Yueshan couldn't hold it in any longer. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent as they unleashed their most powerful attacks. Boom! Ling Xiao's punch was earth-shattering. The terrifying fist radiance sent the 4 monks of Ming Wang Temple flying, causing them to spit out a mouthful of blood at the same time. Their eyes were filled with terror. The 4 monks from Ming Wang Temple wanted to cry but no tears came out. They thought that they had met a pushover and wanted to bully them. They didn't expect the 4 of them to be human-shaped tyrannosauruses. Even the cute little boy was so terrifying. Boom! Long Outyen's punch landed on the chest of one of the monks from Ming Wang Temple. A crisp sound was heard and his chest caved in. The monk from Ming Wang Temple cried out in pain and was sent flying again. Buzz! Yueshan pointed her finger like a sword. She pointed her slender finger and a ray of moonlight sword radiance shot across the sky. It contained an ethereal aura and was extremely fast. The glabella of one of the monks from Ming Wang Temple split open. Yueshin's finger had pierced through his glabella and destroyed his primordial spirit. Boom! On the other side, Phoenix Lady's eyes were filled with murderous intent. She was surrounded by blazing flames and an ancient fan with a red glow appeared in her hand. She fanned it across the sky and black true fire of the phoenix appeared. That was the phoenix tail flaming sky fan. It was a powerful supreme weapon that contained a terrifying supreme power. The monk from Ming Wang Temple was sent flying by Ling Xiao and was caught in the true fire of the phoenix. He was instantly engulfed in flames. Ah ah! The monk from Ming Wang Temple cried out in pain. He struggled violently but was unable to extinguish the flames on his body. Soon, he was reduced to ashes. How dare you kill a disciple of Ming Wang Temple? An aged and icy cold voice resounded, and it carried undisguised ghastly killing intent. Swoosh! Swoosh! Two figures with terrifying auras charged out from the valley. Their cold murderous intent locked onto Ling Xiao and the other three monks. Chapter 764. They were two monks in red kasayas. They looked very old, and their beards and eyebrows were white. Their eyes were filled with cold killing intent. These two monks were half-honorable martial artists of the four divine tribulations. The aura that they exuded was extremely terrifying. However, Ling Xiao did not even look at them. He threw out a punch, and the blazing fist radiance was like a real dragon, pressing down on the other two monks from Ming Wang Temple. How dare you! Killing intent flashed in the eyes of the two old monks. They roared and charged at Ling Xiao from both sides. The terrifying fist prints seemed to have lit up the entire world, and they were extremely dazzling. This was the supreme killing skill of Ming Wang Temple, the Great Light Fist Print. It contained the supreme will of light. Countless fist intents stacked together, as if they were going to crush everything into dust. They were attacking Ling Xiao. Even if Ling Xiao managed to kill the two monks, their Great Light Fist would still land on Ling Xiao. Martial Granduncle, save me! The two young monks seemed to have seen a ray of hope as they screamed. They were extremely regretful now. Who would have thought that these guys had concealed their aura and were so terrifying? Especially Ling Xiao. When his fist landed, they felt as though their minds had been taken away, and they had lost all will to fight. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. It was as though a golden dragon had swept out from behind him, and it contained a majestic dragon's might. Boom! His fist radiance was dazzling, and it did not stop at all. The two young monks from Ming Wang Temple were instantly blown apart by his fist, and they exploded into a bloody mist in the air. Bang! The Great Light Fist print of the two old monks from Ming Wang Temple was indeed powerful. It was thick and powerful, and it directly pierced through the golden dragon behind Ling Xiao. It then landed heavily on Ling Xiao's back. Go to hell! The terrifying Great Light Fist print exploded, and the two old monks from Ming Wang Temple revealed a cold killing intent in their eyes. Clang! However, in the next moment, their expressions changed. When the fist landed on Ling Xiao's body, the expected scene of Ling Xiao being killed by a single punch did not happen. Instead, sparks flew in all directions, as if the fist had landed on an extremely hard mountain. Ling Xiao's entire body glowed with a resplendent golden light. A powerful rebounding force emanated from Ling Xiao's body. Bang! The two old monks felt their arms go numb. They were about to lose all feeling in their arms as they were sent flying. Their eyes were filled with horror. How is this possible? It was only at this moment that they took a closer look at the young man before them. He was merely a half-Shizuan who hadn't even overcome the Great Earth Tribulation, so how could he possess such terrifying battle prowess? You're Ling Xiao. An old monk suddenly thought of something and cried out in alarm. His eyes were filled with an extremely ugly expression. You're right, but there's no prize. Ling Xiao's gaze was as cold as steel as he charged towards the two monks from Ming Wang Temple. This valley was the place where the ancestors of the dragon tribe had left behind their inheritance. The fact that the monks from Ming-Wang Temple were guarding this valley meant that they had discovered something. Hence, Ling Xiao instantly made the decision to kill all the monks from Ming-Wang Temple. Kill them all, don't leave a single one alive. Ling Xiao's cold voice rang out. Phoenix Woman and Yueshin's eyes flashed sharply as they charged towards the valley at the same time. Hee hee, bald donkeys from Ming-Wang Temple, you can only blame yourselves for being unlucky to have met me. Long Outyin chuckled as he charged into the valley. Ling Xiao, are you really going to make Ming-Wang Temple your enemy? Let us go and we promise that we won't find trouble with you ever again. The two old monks from Ming-Wang Temple hurriedly shouted out. Knowing that the person before them was Ling Xiao, the two monks from Ming-Wang Temple no longer had any desire to fight. This was a ruthless person who had killed a Zhizuan. Although their battle prowess was not bad, they were no match for Ling Xiao. It's too late. Ling Xiao's gaze was cold as he spoke indifferently. In an instant, he unleashed his ultimate killing move. Rumble. Ling Xiao's dragon's might was vast and his fist was shocking. Ling Xiao's battle prowess was completely unleashed. Although the two old monks from Ming-Wang Temple were strong, they were still killed by Ling Xiao in the end. Their primordial spirits were also suppressed by the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron. Ling Xiao did not hesitate to use the soul-searching secret technique to search their primordial spirits for any relevant information. Did Ming Fei from Ming-Wang Temple discover the difference in this place? Looks like I have to hurry. Otherwise, when she returns, there will be trouble. Just as Ling Xiao had guessed, Ming Fei from Ming-Wang Temple had also discovered the mystical things in this valley. Ming Fei from Ming-Wang Temple was the #1 genius disciple of Ming-Wang Temple. As for the so-called Ming Revered, including the one that Ling Xiao had killed, there were a total of 5 people. All of them were Ming Fei's lovers. The two old monks were extremely wary of Ming Fei. They guessed that Ming Fei already had the battle prowess to enter the master's honor roll. She was just keeping a low profile. Even when the two old monks joined forces, they could not last more than one move from Ming Fei. So the grade 12 blood lotus is Ming Fei's treasure. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a strange light. From the primordial spirits of the two old monks, he discovered that the grade 12 blood lotus was actually a treasure that Ming Fei had refined. She had only lent it to Ming Revered, and it had ended up benefiting Ling Xiao. The grade 12 blood lotus was still in the Empyrean God's stone. Ling Xiao did not refine it for fear of alerting Ming Fei. He did not expect to meet Ming Fei here. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's figure flashed, and he instantly shot into the valley. The battle within the valley had already been resolved. The two old monks and the 4 monks who stood guard at the entrance of the valley were the strongest experts of the Wise King Temple. The rest were all disciples at the Monarch Realm, and they'd been killed by Feng Nu, Moon Goddess, and Long Outyin. If it was in the past, perhaps the Phoenix Maiden and Moon Goddess would have hesitated to kill so many disciples. But when they saw so many young women being defiled in the valley, and how miserable their deaths were, they were completely enraged. How is Ming-Wang Temple a holy land of Buddhism? They're worse than pigs and dogs. They're even worse than the demon sect. They're a bunch of scum. Feng Nu gnashed her teeth as she spoke. Her eyes were filled with rage. She swept the phoenix tail flaming fan, and a blazing flame instantly spread out, burning all the disciples of Ming-Wang Temple to ashes. Ming-Wang Temple has long deviated from the true meaning of Buddhism. It's just an external demon now. If you encounter anyone from Ming-Wang Temple in the future, just kill them all. Ling Xiao's gaze was cold as well. He stared at the women who had been defiled for a long time before he spoke slowly. Let's hurry up. If the others from Ming-Wang Temple return, I'm afraid there will be trouble. Chapter 765. Rumble. The magma sea was extremely hot, flowing with blazing flames. The rolling magma sea contained an extremely pure fire attribute spiritual qi. Even a powerful Tao artifact would be melted into molten iron instantly. Ling Xiao even felt that even a half-step sovereign would not be able to withstand such blazing flames. Outyin, can you sense anything? Ling Xiao glanced at Long Outyen. Since Long Lai said that the inheritance here belonged to Long Outyen, there must be a deeper meaning. Long Outyen walked around the magma sea. Suddenly, his eyes flashed and he said, "Cousin, I can feel that there is a mysterious force in the middle of the magma sea that is calling out to me." "Is it really in the magma sea?" "Very well, all of you follow me into the divine stone. Let's find out what's in the magma sea." Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and the four of them entered the divine stone. The divine stone turned into a stream of light and shot into the magma sea. In the magma sea, there were flowing flames mixed with the blazing magma sea. It was extremely terrifying. The deeper they went into the magma sea, the more they could feel the blazing energy. There were even colorful flames spreading in surging magma sea in all directions. There is only ordinary earth core magma fire above, but there is grand sun primordial fire below? The Phoenix Maiden was shocked. After going 100 feet into the magma sea, she could feel that there was grand sun primordial fire around her. It was extremely hot. It's not just grand sun primordial fire. Look, what is that? The moon deity's eyes flashed as she pointed ahead. There were wisps of mist spreading and finally, they turned into tiny dragon-shaped flames. They intertwined with each other like a huge cocoon. Divine dragon fire. It seems like there is an expert from the dragon tribe who has become a deity here. Ling Xiao said slowly as a strange look appeared in his eyes. Those dragon-shaped flames seemed to be filled with spirituality as they swam in the magma sea. However, Ling Xiao could feel the terrifying energy contained within them. Swoosh! Ling Xiao controlled the Empyrean Divine Stone and instantly broke through that layer of fire cocoon. His vision suddenly became clear. This was a huge underground cave. Although the aura was still scorching, it was still bearable for ordinary people. However, the layer of dragon-shaped flames above his head, at the entrance of the mountain peak, was still moving in all directions, emitting a terrifyingly hot energy. Ling Xiao could sense that even a Supreme Being expert would find it difficult to penetrate the seal of the divine dragon fire. This is the skeleton of a senior dragon. Long Outyen's voice trembled, and he became serious. In front of Ling Xiao and the others was a gigantic dragon skeleton that was tens of thousands of feet long. It was pure gold in color, and the dragon skeleton was translucent. It looked like the most exquisite piece of art. The gigantic dragon skeleton stretched for tens of thousands of meters, lying in this gigantic underground cave, and emitted a monstrous dragon's might, causing one's heart to tremble. Divine dragon bone, it really is the divine dragon bone. Ling Xiao sighed softly, his eyes shining brightly. Even though he had already condensed the bloodline of a true dragon, he could still feel his bloodline trembling in the face of this dragon bone. Furthermore, the ripples emanating from this dragon bone had already surpassed the aura of a supreme being. This was a dragon clan expert of the divine spirit realm. There is a gigantic fingerprint here. Someone killed this expert of the dragon clan with just a finger. Phoenix Maiden's voice was heard. Ling Xiao and Long Outyen hurriedly flew over. At the position of the dragon's head, the gigantic dragon's head was like a small mountain. However, there was a black fingerprint between the eyebrows of the dragon. It had actually pierced through the dragon's eyebrows, and perhaps even the primordial spirit. There were no traces of any soul ripples. There is the aura of an extraterrestrial demon. It seems like the one who killed this senior of the dragon clan must be an extraterrestrial demon. Ling Xiao said slowly. Although the black fingerprint was very faint, Ling Xiao was still sensitive enough to detect the aura of an extraterrestrial demon. Furthermore, looking at this divine dragon bone, it was probably at least hundreds of thousands of years ago, or even millions of years ago. Ling Xiao guessed that this divine dragon senior had participated in the battle a million years ago. In that case, this time cave was very likely to be the remains of the battle a million years ago. Outyen, bring this senior of the dragon clan back and bury him in the dragon transformation pool or the dragon tomb. This should be the unfulfilled wish of this senior. Ling Xiao sighed softly. However, What puzzled him was that from the beginning to the end, they did not detect any ripples of inheritance from the divine dragon bone. Could it be that Long Lai only wanted Ling Xiao and Long Outyen to bring the divine dragon's bone back? That should not be possible. Ling Xiao examined it carefully again and finally found some golden runes at the dragon's head. This is the secret bloodline inheritance of the dragon clan. Ling Xiao's eyes widened, as if he had thought of something. Secret bloodline inheritance? It seems to be true. It seems like the inheritance left behind by this divine dragon senior is hidden here. Long Outyen said with some surprise. The secret bloodline inheritance of the dragon clan used the bloodline as the source and merged with the power of the laws of heaven and earth to form a powerful inheritance power. Only the bloodline of the dragon clan could accept this inheritance power. Outyen, come and try. Ling Xiao said slowly. All right. Long Outyen nodded and immediately sat down with his legs crossed. Rumble. A gush of golden blood rose. Long Outyen's blood was as vigorous as the sea. There seemed to be a dragon's roar behind him. A powerful bloodline power spread towards the divine dragon bone and instantly imprinted on the golden runes. Wang! The divine dragon bone began to vibrate. Golden runes slowly floated up. The divine dragon bone exuded a powerful dragon aura as if it had come alive. A gush of golden blood rushed out from the divine dragon bone and instantly enveloped Long Outyen. At the same time, Ling Xiao's true dragon bloodline also began to vibrate. The secret skill of the ancestral dragon began to circulate automatically. A majestic aura filled the air. As if it had sensed Ling Xiao's aura, a gush of golden blood rushed towards Ling Xiao. Rumble. Ling Xiao's bloodline seemed to be boiling. Golden flames curled around his body, and a mysterious power began to spread around him. Even Ling Xiao did not expect such a change. However, when the majestic bloodline power rushed towards him, Ling Xiao could only guard his mind and begin to refine the power. At the same time, he began to comprehend the mysterious information that was transmitted from the bloodline. Phoenix woman, Yueshan, please protect me and Outyen. Be careful of the people from Ming Wang Temple. Chapter 766. Rumble. The majestic power of the bloodline surged forth, containing a powerful and mysterious dragon aura. That power was incomparably majestic. In front of it, Ling Xiao felt like he was just an ant. In a trance, he seemed to have returned to 1,000,000 years ago. A 10,000 feet long golden divine dragon roamed the heavens, bathed in blood, fighting to the death among countless extraterrestrial demons. With a sweep of the dragon's tail, a large number of extraterrestrial demons would explode. With a swipe of the dragon's claws, the extraterrestrial demons' brains would burst open, and they would die a violent death. I am Long Ong, the leader of the dragon clan in the Jinlong Great World. I followed Lord Demon Saint to battle the extraterrestrial demons, exterminated the extraterrestrial demons, and swept across the heavens. A mysterious and ancient voice reverberated in Ling Xiao's mind. Ling Xiao's heart trembled. This was the message left behind by the divine dragon's skeleton. It was hidden in the bloodline. Ling Xiao absorbed the power of the bloodline and naturally activated this message. Following the description of the message, Ling Xiao finally understood the identity of this divine dragon skeleton. It turned out that this divine dragon skeleton was called Long Ong, and he was the leader of the dragon clan in the Jinlong Great World. However, due to the invasion of the extraterrestrial demons, the Jinlong Great World collapsed. Long Ong followed Demon Saint to battle the extraterrestrial demons, and countless experts of the dragon clan died in battle. Even Long Ong died in the hands of a heavenly demon god, and his corpse was left behind in the War God Great World. So the dragon clan is not from the War God Great World, but from the Jinlong Great World? Looks like it's the same as the Azura clan, Panga clan, and the Nine-Tailed Fox clan. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Speaking of which, this Long Ong was the ancestor of Long Lai and Long Outyen. His background was very frightening. The leader of the dragon clan in the Jinlong Great World, a peerless expert who had stepped into the divine spirit realm, was killed by a single finger of the extraterrestrial demon. The power of the extraterrestrial demon made people shudder. Moreover, in the message left behind by Long Ong, there were two mysterious scriptures. Emperor Dragon Scripture. 10,000 Dragons God-Slaying Technique. Ling Xiao didn't have time to look at these two scriptures. Suddenly, the terrifying power of the bloodline exploded in Ling Xiao's body. Rumble. Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by a golden glow, and the divine light was dazzling. His physical body had already reached the pinnacle of the celestial dragon body, and he had condensed the bloodline of the true dragon. The majestic bloodline of the divine dragon surged into his body, immediately causing a mysterious transformation to take place in his body. Runes filled the air, and within Ling Xiao's body, there seemed to be billions of tiny golden dragons intertwining. They were devouring the boundless divine power and growing continuously. Ling Xiao felt like his body was about to explode. Even if there was only one divine dragon bloodline, it was still the power of a deity. It was not something he could bear at the moment. Ling Xiao used the heaven-devouring mystic skill and the wordless heavenly book to refine the divine dragon bloodline. I wonder if proud heaven can withstand this power. Ling Xiao was extremely worried. However, he could not detect Long Outyan's condition. He could only focus on devouring the power of the divine dragon bloodline. Boom! Ling Xiao's body was overflowing with light, and the golden divine light intertwined to form the shape of a dragon. It was like a huge cocoon that enveloped Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's physical strength had already reached a limit. However, under the impact of the divine dragon bloodline, he felt like his physical body had broken through the limit, becoming more and more terrifying. Dragon scales appeared on the surface of Ling Xiao's skin. His bones, bloodline, and physical body began to be engraved with layers of golden runes. That was the bloodline of the dragon tribe, and also the recognition of the heavenly way. It contained the profound meaning of the dragon. I'll take this opportunity to overcome the earth's calamity. Ling Xiao shouted in his heart, and immediately began to charge towards the earth's calamity. Rumble. As if some kind of heavenly way had been triggered, Ling Xiao's physical body exuded a terrifying fluctuation. On the ground, there was a vast amount of yellow mist that spread out and surged madly into Ling Xiao's body. Rumble. The yellow mist was the origin qi, and it had merged with the heavenly way. It seemed to have turned into a small blade of light, and it exploded in Ling Xiao's body. That peerlessly terrifying power seemed to want to grind Ling Xiao's physical body into dust. The surface of Ling Xiao's skin began to crack. Even though he was devouring the divine dragon bloodline, it was still difficult for him to withstand this terrifying earth tribulation. Supreme beings were recognized by the laws of the world, possessing a lifespan of 10,000 years. They were peerless experts in this world, standing at the peak of the human Tao. If one wanted to become a supreme, they had to undergo the tribulation of the four symbols and the tempering of the supreme tribulation. The tribulations of the four symbols were the forces of earth, water, wind, and fire. They were respectively the tribulation of earth, tribulation of black water, tribulation of heavenly wind, and tribulation of blazing fire. The great earth tribulation descended. His physical body collapsed and was rebuilt after being destroyed, achieving a flawless body. The calamity of black water descended. His spiritual qi was removed, and the impurities were washed away. He achieved the born Taoism aptitude. The tribulation of heavenly wind descended, shattering the primordial spirit. 10,000 tribulations struck the body, forming a pure yang primordial spirit. The tribulation of fire descended, and the three treasures of essence, energy, and spirit underwent the tribulation at the same time. Under the burning of the flames of the heavenly Tao, Zhou Tian became one, the three flowers converged, and the five energies converged. After transcending the tribulation of the four symbols, one would be able to become a peerless supreme after transcending the tribulation of the 9 symbols. Each of these 5 major tribulations was incomparably difficult and required a lot of accumulation. Some people even needed hundreds or thousands of years to temper their physical body. However, the peerless geniuses of the martial Tao Holy Lands had an endless supply of resources from their sections. The three treasures of essence, energy, and energy were quickly polished to perfection and quickly transcended the tribulation of the four symbols. However, the last tribulation of the 9 symbols faced the crushing force of the heavenly Tao. Everyone was incomparably cautious and did not dare to recklessly transcend the tribulation. Ling Xiao's previous accumulation was too great. The stronger his physical body, the stronger the earth tribulation would naturally be. This was also the reason why Ling Xiao did not wait to condense a true dragon body to undergo the tribulation of the 9 symbols. If he condensed a true dragon body and possessed a peerless combat body that could kill supremes, even the heavenly Tao would not tolerate him when he transcended the tribulation of the 9 symbols. It could be said that he would die without a doubt. Even now, Ling Xiao's accumulation could be said to be unprecedented. The Xianhuang earth qi in the surrounding 30,000 miles surged, and the laws of heaven and earth spread out, as if they wanted to completely crush him into dust. Crack! Ling Xiao's body was covered in cracks like a broken piece of porcelain. It was as if he would explode at any moment. Streams of Xianhuang earth qi lingered, and the laws of heaven and earth wreaked havoc in his body. The bloodline qi in Ling Xiao's body surged, and the divine dragon bloodline was endlessly integrated into his body, maintaining the circulation of his body. If it were not for the divine dragon bloodline, Ling Xiao felt that he would have to pay a great price to transcend the earth tribulation. Buzz! A faint fluctuation surged from the ground and spread towards Ling Xiao's body. Every time it shook, his physical body would shatter more and more, as if it would explode at any moment. However, the divine dragon bloodline was firmly sucking his physical body into a single entity. Chapter 767. Ling Xiao refined the divine dragon bloodline as he went through the earth tribulation. In such a state, his body became even more dazzling. Buzz! Ling Xiao's body trembled slightly. Every time it trembled, a trace of the power of law would be integrated into his body. Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by a golden glow as if it was transforming into a mysterious body of the power of law. The faint fluctuation caused the void to tremble. Just like that, Ling Xiao entered a mysterious state, forgetting the passage of time and forgetting everything. Is Ling Xiao going through the earth tribulation? Phoenix Girl's eyes revealed a strange look. Yes, it should be. However, the fluctuation of the Xianhuang earth qi is too strong. I'm afraid only when Ling Xiao is going through the earth tribulation will there be such a huge commotion. Moon Goddess smiled faintly. Phoenix Girl and Moon Goddess stood in front of Ling Xiao and Long Outyen to protect them. Ling Xiao and Long Outyen sat cross-legged on the dragon's head. Their bodies were surrounded by a golden glow, forming 2 huge dragon-shaped golden cocoons. They were undergoing some kind of strange transformation. Ling Xiao's movement was the biggest because he was still going through the earth tribulation. Long Outyen's movement was very small. There was only a faint golden glow, but it emitted an aura that made Phoenix Girl and Moon Goddess's hearts palpitate. Sister Moon Goddess, do you also like Ling Xiao? Phoenix Girl looked at Moon Goddess seriously and asked. She and Moon God sat in the empty underground cave. They were protecting Ling Xiao and Long Ao Tian as they chatted. That's a good word. It seems like Sister Xiao Wu admits that you like Ling Xiao. Moon Goddess smiled faintly and did not answer directly. Instead, she asked a question of her own. Phoenix Girl's cheeks flushed red. She immediately knew that she had said too much and lowered her head in embarrassment. However, after a while, she suddenly raised her head and said, "That's right, I like Ling Xiao. When I'm with him, I feel very safe and happy. It's warm and I don't know why I rely on him so much. We have traveled together from the 8 Desolates region, but I have never seen anyone like Ling Xiao. He has endless magical powers, as if there is nothing he cannot do. Even in the War God continent, where geniuses gather, Ling Xiao is the most dazzling one compared to those peerless geniuses from the Holy Lands. My feelings towards him are very complicated. At the beginning, he had lifted the bloodline seal for me, but he had killed many elders and senior brothers of the Wan Shou sect. I didn't know how to face him. However, he still passed on the true phoenix secret technique to me and took me out of the 8 Desolates region to see a wider world. Especially on the underworld boat. In order to save us, he fell into the reincarnation sea. At that time, my heart felt like it was being torn apart. Only then did I truly face my own heart. Unknowingly, I had already fallen in love with him. The Phoenix Maiden's voice was very soft. There was a hint of joy and a hint of nervousness. She slowly spoke of her heart. It was as if only at this moment could she let go of everything and tell the moon god her thoughts. Silly girl, do you think others can't tell? Anyone can tell that your heart has been with Ling Xiao for a long time. The moon god gently smiled. However, I always felt that although Ling Xiao and I were very close, we were also very far apart. It was as if he was a god that had been banished to the mortal world. It was as if he would return to the heavens sooner or later. He seemed very cheerful, laughing and cursing. He was very concerned about us, but his heart seemed to be very closed. I couldn't see through him and I didn't know what he was thinking. In fact, I didn't even know if he liked me or not. The Phoenix Maiden's voice was a bit gloomy. Her beautiful eyes revealed a trace of confusion. Ling Xiao is indeed very special and very mysterious. He is worthy of your love, but he must have many secrets on him, or perhaps he has a mission. Silly girl, believe in him. As long as you like him, you should believe in him. Moreover, I believe that with your beauty and cuteness, he will definitely like you. The moon god's eyes revealed a faint light as she slowly spoke. What about you? Sister Moon God, do you like Ling Xiao? The Phoenix Maiden quickly asked. Me? I don't know. The moon god's mouth revealed a trace of a bitter smile. There was a faint trace of confusion in her eyes. Ling Xiao is also very good to me. He helped me find the Sun Moon Star scripture and brought me to the War God continent. He protected me and cared for me along the way. Speaking of which, I should like him, but I'm different from you. I have no choice. I also have my own mission to carry. Therefore, liking someone is too extravagant for me. It's not something I can delude myself into. The moon god's voice was very soft. At this time, the originally otherworldly goddess revealed a trace of tenderness that made one's heart ache. Sister Moon God, what mission do you have? Tell us and we can all share your burden. Ling Xiao is so powerful, he will definitely have a way to help you. The Phoenix Maiden said worriedly. He can't help me. No one can help me. This is my destiny. Moreover, coming to the time cave is another reincarnation of my destiny. The moon god faintly smiled. There was a trace of desolation in her eyes. Sister Moon God. The Phoenix Maiden's heart ached as she grabbed the moon god's hand. However, it was incomparably cold to the touch. Little Wu, I still feel that Ling Xiao might already have someone he loves in his heart. That's why you feel that way. However, you have to fight for your own happiness. I believe that as long as you work hard, he will fall in love with you sooner or later. The moon god looked at the Phoenix Maiden and smiled gently. He already has someone he loves. The Phoenix Maiden's heart trembled. Although she had already guessed it, hearing the moon god say it still made her heart ache. It's okay. Sister Moon God, the person he loves hasn't appeared until now. She wasn't even around during Ling Xiao's most difficult time. This means that she isn't worthy of Ling Xiao. I will always be by his side, whether it's life or death. The Phoenix Maiden seemed to be comforting herself. She glanced at Ling Xiao, who was not far away. The gentleness in her eyes seemed to be able to melt all ice. It's good that you can think this way. The moon god smiled slightly. The moon god's eyes suddenly flashed. She could feel a faint wave of energy coming from above. Someone's here. The Phoenix Maiden's eyes also lit up. She immediately stood up. Rumble. Above his head, the ceiling boundary formed by the divine spirit fire suddenly trembled violently. The light was dazzling, as if something was attacking the divine spirit fire. Buzz! A milky white light shone down from above. Instantly, a milky white jade bottle passed through the divine spiritual fire and slowly landed in the underground cave. I was wondering who would be so daring to kill the people of Ming Wang Temple. I didn't expect it to be the Phoenix Maiden from the Mountain of Flames and the Moon God from the Moon Palace. Chapter 768. It was a beautiful lady in a luxurious monk robe. She wore a 7 treasures glazed crown and her body was covered in dazzling tassels. Every frown and smile of hers was filled with charm. She exuded a faint Buddhist light and looked pure and dignified. It was as though she was a virtuous monk. She was Ming Fei from Ming Wang Temple. Behind her, there were 4 young monks in moon-white monk robes. They all looked very handsome, with delicate features. Their palms were clasped together, and their eyes were filled with tenderness and admiration as they looked at Ming Fei. Ming Fei Jialan. Phoenix Girl's eyes flashed as she looked at Ming Fei Jialan. Ming Fei Jialan was the most outstanding disciple in this generation of Ming Wang Temple. Ming Fei Jialan was originally the plaything of the disciples of Ming Wang Temple. However, Ming Fei Jialan did the opposite. She had 3,000 male companions and 4 Ming revered subordinates. Her cultivation was unfathomable. Jialan Mingfei was already a half-step supreme being who had undergone the tribulation of 4 symbols. The 4 venerables behind her had also undergone the tribulation of earth. Ming Fei Jialan, why are you here? If you don't want Ming Wang Temple to go to war with Moon Palace and Blazing Mountain, please leave. Moon Goddess said calmly as moonlight surrounded her. She was on her guard. Moon Goddess, aren't you asking the obvious? You know very well why I'm here. I didn't expect there to be a set of dragon gods' bones in this sea of lava. You killed the people of Ming Wang Temple and want to monopolize the dragon gods' bones. I don't think there's such a good thing in this world, right? Ming Fei Jialan smiled gently. Then what do you want? Phoenix Girl's eyes were filled with coldness. The 5 people in front of him were all extremely powerful. Every one of them was stronger than the Moon Goddess and the Phoenix Lady. If they were to fight, the Moon Goddess and the Phoenix Lady might be able to protect themselves. However, they might delay Ling Xiao and Long Outyan's cultivation. If I'm not wrong, Ling Xiao should be accepting the inheritance of the dragon god's bones, right? He's really cruel. He killed so many people from Ming Wang Temple and one of my Ming revered subordinates. Why don't I let him be my Ming revered? I'll definitely dote on him. Jialan Ming Fei giggled. Her eyes were filled with a charming expression. Crazy woman, Ling Xiao would never fall for you. I advise you to scram. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude. Phoenix Maiden said coldly. Light flashed in her hand, and the phoenix tail burning sky fan flickered with a scarlet light as it appeared in her palm. It's not up to you to decide whether you like me or not. Don't tell me you like little brother Ling Xiao too. This servant also likes it very much. This servant will not give it to you, Fairy Foam. Jialan Ming Fei said with a charming smile. Her beautiful eyes were filled with a faint light, as if they were forming a mysterious vortex that wanted to devour the mind of the Phoenix Girl. Whoosh! Moon God's eyes flashed coldly. A bright moonlight spread, and the cold air blocked the light in Jialan Ming Fei's eyes. Phoenix Lady woke up. Despicable. The Phoenix Girl's eyes flashed with a cold light. Her body emitted a terrifying aura. It was as if there was a black flame rising behind her. The phoenix tail burning sky fan moved, causing the void to tremble violently. Phoenix tail burning sky fan. What a good treasure. Why don't you give it to me? Jialan Ming Fei smiled. She instantly turned into a stream of light and rushed towards the Phoenix Girl. She lightly slapped her palm towards the Phoenix Girl. The 5 of you, kill the 2 people in the golden cocoons. Jialan Ming Fei's murderous voice rang in the mind of the 4 Ming revered. Yes. The four light venerables did not hesitate at all when they heard Jia Lan Ming Fei's order. They immediately turned into streaks of light and charged towards Ling Xiao and Long Outyan. Sister Moon God, stop them. The Phoenix Girl was anxious and quickly shouted. Okay. Phoenix Girl's eyes flashed with cold killing intent. Light flashed in her hand and a silver sword shone brightly. It emitted a cold light and instantly slashed towards the four Ming revered. Taiyin ancient sword. Not bad, not bad. I like them very much. Give them to me. Jia Lan Ming Fei chuckled. Light flashed in her eyes. She stretched out her other hand and mysterious runes surrounded by Buddhist light blocked the moon god's attack. Buzz! The white jade bottle in Jia Lan Ming Fei's hand flew into the sky. A powerful devouring force rushed towards the Phoenix Girl and the moon god. Clear glass bottle. The Phoenix Girl's eyes flashed. She recognized that it was a powerful supreme weapon. It contained a small world that could suck people into it and turn them into pus in a matter of seconds. Jia Lan Ming Fei had relied on the clear glass bottle to break through the layer of divine dragon fire. Otherwise, they would not have been able to enter. Buzz! The phoenix tail burning sky fan and the Taichu ancient sword shone brightly. At the same time, they emitted a powerful supreme aura to resist the power of the clear glass bottle. My two little sisters, you are so beautiful that I am jealous. Why don't I capture you and give you to my senior brothers as concubines? I believe they will be very happy. Although Jia Lan Ming Fei was joking, she did not show any mercy. Her attacks were ruthless and merciless as she attacked the Phoenix Girl and the Moon God. Although the Phoenix Girl and the Moon God were powerful, they had just stepped into the half-step supreme realm. Jia Lan Ming Fei was already a half-step supreme being. Even with the phoenix tail burning sky fan and the Taichu ancient sword, they were still in a dangerous situation. The Phoenix Girl was anxious and worried about Ling Xiao. However, she could not break free from Jia Lan Ming Fei's restraint. Boom! Cold killing intent flashed in the eyes of the four Ming revered as they charged towards Ling Xiao and Long Outyan. Two of the Ming revered had a black demon subduing blade in their hands. They channeled their terrifying strength and slashed towards the golden cocoon. They wanted to kill Ling Xiao directly. They did not even consider capturing him alive. Boom! When the demon's subduing blade landed on the golden cocoon, sparks flew in all directions. It was as if the blade had landed on a piece of metal. The golden cocoon shone brightly and a mysterious dragon-shaped energy swept across the sky. It crashed into the chests of the two Ming revered and sent them flying. At the same time, the golden light started to dissipate, revealing Ling Xiao and Long Outyan. Damn it! Kill him! The two revered light deities had ugly expressions on their faces. The aura emitted by the godly dragon skeleton shocked them greatly. Their hearts trembled. The more it was like this, the more anxious they became. They had to kill Ling Xiao. Otherwise, once Ling Xiao received the inheritance of the dragon god's skeleton, it would be their time to die. Boom! The two light venerables were surrounded by golden blood energy that instantly turned into golden flames, causing their auras to skyrocket. The demon subduing saber exuded a terrifying aura that seemed to be able to shatter the void as it slashed down at Ling Xiao. They had actually burned their lifeblood essence. The power of the slash was comparable to the full-powered attack of a half-supreme martial highness during the tribulation of four symbols. Buzz! Just as the two demon subduing blades were about to land on Ling Xiao's body suddenly crumbled apart. Chapter 769. Ling Xiao's body appeared to be in a very strange state. His physical body had completely disintegrated and turned into tiny particles, but they were still floating in the void. His eyes were extremely bright and resplendent, and there was a mysterious light that seemed to be able to penetrate everything. I still have to thank you for helping me overcome the Earth's calamity. In return, I will send you to the Western Paradise to meet your Buddha. His faint voice reverberated in the void. Rumble. A divine light storm surged from Ling Xiao's body, and golden clouds swirled around him. The power of the divine dragon bloodline was completely unleashed. The tiny particles floated in the void, and the boundless law of heaven and earth poured into them. In an instant, they reformed into a perfect physical body. Ling Xiao's skin was as white as jade, and it emitted a faint golden light. His entire body was flawless, and there was a mysterious power of law that permeated the air, making him look like the most perfect piece of art. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were like lightning. He sat cross-legged in the void, and a vast and terrifying dragon aura exuded from his body. Roar! A giant golden dragon coiled behind Ling Xiao, and an earth-shattering dragon's roar shook the heavens. It was as if the billions of living beings in the world had begun to tremble. What? The four Ming revered's faces instantly turned ugly, and they couldn't help but reveal a trace of fear. The aura that Ling Xiao exuded was like that of an immemorial divine beast. It was extremely terrifying, and they couldn't help but want to kneel down. How could they have the will to resist? I'll let you all have a taste of the power of the thousand dragons god-slaying technique. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a monstrous sharpness, and he sent a palm across the sky, enveloping the four Ming revered. Rumble! The giant golden dragon behind Ling Xiao seemed to have rushed out of an inexplicable spacetime. It roared, and its blood was monstrous. Wrapped in unparalleled divine power, it suppressed the four Ming revered. Block it for me! The four Ming revered roared at the same time. Their eyes were filled with incomparable madness, and the blood essence in their bodies began to burn. The four demons subduing blades were quasi-supreme weapons, and they emitted an unparalleled sharpness as they slashed toward Ling Xiao's palm. They had a thought in their minds. If they couldn't block Ling Xiao's palm, they would die, and it would be an extremely miserable death. Rumble! The terrifying palm print fell like a real dragon fighting in the sky. The incomparably tragic aura instantly rushed into their sea of consciousness, and layers of divine power exploded in their bodies. Bang! The four light sovereigns exploded into a bloody mist at the same time, leaving a huge handprint on the ground. The power of a single palm strike was unimaginable. This was the myriad dragon's god-slaying art. It used the dragon race's bloodline to fuse with the laws of heaven and earth to form a supreme true dragon or even a divine dragon, erupting with the power to slaughter gods and exterminate demons. When the 10,000 dragons god-slaying art was cultivated to the extreme, one palm strike would cause 10,000 divine dragons to fill the sky. Even a true god would die without a doubt. Ling Xiao had only condensed one true dragon. When he condensed 10,000 true dragons and transformed them into a divine dragon, the 10,000 dragons god-slaying technique would be considered a small success. As for Long Ong, it was said that he had only cultivated to the level of condensing 36 divine dragons. He was still far from the great perfection 10,000 divine dragon. The power of the 10,000 dragons god-slaying art was monstrous. At the very least, only experts of the dragon race with the true dragon bloodline could cultivate it. It could be said that it was the most terrifying divine art that Ling Xiao had encountered so far. Ling Xiao's killing of the four light sovereigns shocked Jialan Mingfei, Phoenix Maiden, and Yueshan, who were not far away. Ling Xiao. Jialan Bright Consort's face instantly turned ugly. She never thought that Ling Xiao would wake up at this time. The inheritance of the divine dragon bone should take a long time. How could it end so quickly? Ling Xiao, quickly kill this crazy woman. Phoenix Maiden's face was filled with incomparable joy as she hurriedly shouted. Rumble! Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as he sent out another palm strike. Another true dragon soared through the sky and charged towards Jialan Mingfei. The 10,000 dragons god-slaying art could be said to be unstoppable. It was a top-notch killing art. The ferocious aura caused Jialan Mingfei's expression to change drastically. She did not dare to face it head-on and hurriedly used the clear glass vase to block in front of her. Wang! The true dragon soared across the sky and slammed onto the clear glass vase. Instantly, the vase was covered in dazzling rays of light and a thunderous sound reverberated in the air. The terrifying rebounding force caused Jia Lan Mingfei to tremble. Hee hee. Little brother Ling Xiao, I'm getting more and more interested in you. Remember, you killed my 5 light sovereigns. I'll definitely make you my light sovereign. When that time comes, I'll definitely dote on you. Jia Lan Mingfei's eyes were filled with incomparable anger. However, she quickly regained her composure and smiled charmingly at Ling Xiao. In an instant, she turned into a ray of light and wanted to leave the underground cave. Since you're here, don't leave. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as he said indifferently. In an instant, the sky-devouring sword appeared in his hand and emitted a dazzling divine light as it slashed towards Jia Lan Mingfei. With Ling Xiao's nourishment, the sky-devouring sword's spirituality grew stronger and stronger, causing the power of the sky-devouring sword to become even more terrifying. As the sword pierced out, it was as though the void was about to shatter. Jia Lan Mingfei's escape route was cut off and the dazzling divine light seemed to be about to drown her completely. Block it for me. Jia Lan Mingfei's face revealed a trace of sharpness as she spat out a mouthful of blood essence. The clear glass vase shone brightly and released thousands of rays of auspicious light. It actually shattered the sword chi that erupted from the sky-devouring sword and created a hole in the seal of the mystical dragon fire. Jia Lan Mingfei's body was surrounded by a dazzling Buddhist light as blood lotuses filled the sky. She actually turned into billions of doppelgangers and rushed out of the underground cave in an instant. Buzz! The clear glass vase also flashed and wanted to escape with Jia Lan Mingfei. Since you want to leave so badly, I won't keep you. However, I'll keep this clear glass vase as interest. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of a cold smile. The dragon power around him spread out and a blazing flame rose into the sky. In an instant, the seal of the mystical dragon fire was repaired. Streaks of divine chains of order swept across the sky and entangled the clear glass vase in an instant. Puff! Jia Lan Mingfei felt that the clear glass vase was blocked by Ling Xiao and spat out a mouthful of blood. Her face instantly became extremely pale. Little brother Ling Xiao, I'll leave the clear glass vase with you for now. Remember, I'll come back for you. Although Jia Lan Mingfei was joking, her eyes were extremely gloomy and filled with blazing killing intent. She did not dare to look back and immediately rushed out of the lava sea. Chapter 770. Puff! Jia Lan Mingfei spat out another mouthful of blood, her eyes filled with disbelief. She felt that the connection between her and the clear glass vase had been severed. This meant that Ling Xiao had erased the primordial spirit imprint on the clear glass vase. Damn it! Ling Xiao, when I get the inheritance of the Mahamayuri, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Jia Lan Mingfei's face became extremely ferocious. She looked behind her with hatred and instantly disappeared from the valley. In the underground cave, Ling Xiao used the power of the heaven-devouring secret technique to erase the Yuan spirit imprint left by Imperial Concubine Jialan. If Imperial Concubine Jialan was a supreme being expert, Ling Xiao might not have been able to erase her Yuan spirit imprint so easily. Unfortunately, Jia Lan Mingfei was only a half-step sovereign. It was easy for Ling Xiao to erase her primordial spirit imprint. The 12th grade blood lotus and the clear glass bottle were both in Ling Xiao's hands. This time, Jia Lan Mingfei could be said to have gone for wool and come home shorn. Although the clear glass vase did not have a complete primordial spirit imprint, it was still extremely large. Ling Xiao found many treasures in it. There were 50 million pure yang pills. There were also 3 quasi-sovereign weapons, dozens of bottles of elixir pills, 12 sacred herbs, and some martial arts of the Ming Wang Temple. These were not small treasures, but Ling Xiao had benefited from them. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He discovered that there was actually a young girl in a white dress in the clear glass bottle. She was tied up with ropes, and her body emitted a faint moonlight. She looked very pretty and gentle. However, there was a mysterious aura on this girl. It was overflowing with an ancient aura, as if she had merged with the aura of the Time Cave. The ancient Yi clan. Ling Xiao's eyes trembled slightly. He could almost instantly confirm that this girl in white was from the ancient Yi clan. However, he did not expect that Ming Fei would capture someone from the ancient Yi clan. Ling Xiao now felt a little regretful. Just now, he had killed the 4 revered light deities with a single palm strike. The myriad dragon god slaying technique was too terrifying. Not only had it annihilated their bodies, but it had also destroyed their primordial spirits. If he had left behind their primordial spirits, he would have been able to interrogate them as to why they had captured the people of the ancient remnant races. Wang! With a flash of light, Ling Xiao released the girl in the white dress and cut the ropes binding her. You bad guys! The girl in the white dress had a pretty face and her skin was as translucent as jade. She was tall and slender, but at this moment, her face was filled with fear and panic. Her face was very pale as she looked at Ling Xiao and couldn't help but retreat. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, Miss, we are not bad people. Those bad people have already been killed by us. We saved you. You're all bad people. Grandpa said that every time you outsiders come here, you'll start a massacre. All outsiders are bad people. The girl in white said stubbornly. She was a little flustered. She looked around and realized that she was in an underground cave. Moreover, the divine dragon skeleton behind her gave her a fright. Miss, not all outsiders are bad. Just like you ancient races, aren't there good and bad people as well? Believe us, we killed those bad guys and saved you. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly and explained patiently. Let us do it. Phoenix Girl and Moon Goddess smiled and walked towards the girl in the white dress. Little girl, what's your name? We are really good people. Once we leave this place, we will let you go, okay? Phoenix Maiden said softly. However, after the girl in the white dress glanced at Moon Goddess, she suddenly trembled and became extremely emotional. Her eyes were filled with worship and she actually knelt down to Moon Goddess. Moon Goddess? You are Moon Goddess. Xiao Shi greets Moon Goddess. Grandpa said that Moon Goddess would definitely appear. I didn't expect you to really appear. The girl in the white dress was extremely emotional. Her eyes shone with worship as she bowed sincerely. You've got the wrong person. I'm not Moon Goddess. I'm Moon Goddess. Moon Goddess's eyes flashed with a strange look as she said softly. No, you are Moon Goddess. You look exactly like the deity statue in the tribe. Moon Goddess, follow me back to the tribe. If Grandpa and the others know that you have arrived, they will be very happy. The girl in the white dress said stubbornly. Moon Goddess? When Ling Xiao heard these words, a strange look appeared in his eyes. Thinking about the mysterious power in Moon Goddess's body, he had a few more guesses. Get up first, little girl. First, tell me why you call me Moon Goddess. Moon Goddess was helpless as she walked over to help the girl in the white dress up. The girl in the white dress stood up, and the panic in her eyes disappeared. Instead, they were filled with anticipation and worship. Empress Moon Mother, my name is Yu Xiaoxi. The deity that our moon tribe worships is the Empress Moon Mother. Every year, during the great sacrifice, we will worship the Empress Moon Mother. I have seen the statue of the Empress Moon Mother. You are exactly the same as her, even your temperament is the same. Ling Xiao could tell that even though Yu Xiaoxi's cultivation was only in the noble realm, her skin was as smooth as ice and her bones were as smooth as jade. She was actually a 1-in-a-million cultivation genius. Moon tribe? Then why did the people from Ming Wang Temple want to capture you? Ling Xiao asked. Yu Xiaoxi looked at Ling Xiao fearfully. She bit her lips and did not speak. Xiaoxi, they're all my friends. They're not bad people. Moon Goddess snickered. This little girl had the temperament of a young girl. Yes. I snuck out from the Moon tribe. I wanted to go to the temple to worship, but I didn't expect to meet those bad people. They captured me and wanted to search my soul. If it wasn't for the sealing power that grandfather left in my primordial spirit, Xiaoxi would have died in the hands of those bad people. As she spoke, Yu Xiaoxi's eyes began to turn red. Xiaoxi, do you know how many ancient races there are in this world? How many tribes are there? Moon Goddess asked. Through the ancient races, it was the fastest way to understand the Cave of Time. I don't know either. I only know that there are 4 major tribes. They are our Moon tribe, the Spirit tribe, the Buddha tribe, and the Demon tribe. There are many other smaller tribes. Originally, the 4 major tribes were as close as brothers. However, grandfather said that the Demon tribe has been possessed by demons and has become our enemy. All these years, the Moon tribe, the Spirit tribe, and the Buddha tribe have joined forces to fight against the Demon tribe. However, the Demon tribe is too strong. Many of our brothers and sisters, uncles, and grandfathers have died in the hands of those demons. Chapter 771. The 4 major tribes. The Moon tribe, the Spirit tribe, the Buddha tribe, and the Demon tribe. Xiaoxi, what is the temple you just mentioned? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked. The temple is a great temple. Grandpa said that it's the temple of the creator of this world. It's just that it's very far from our Moon tribe. Every year, only the patriarchs of the 4 major tribes are qualified to enter the temple to worship. I was just curious and wanted to see what the temple looked like, so I sneaked out. Yu Xiaoxi said embarrassedly. Temple? Ling Xiao, could this temple be the Temple of Time? Phoenix Maiden's eyes flashed as she looked at Ling Xiao. It's possible. Ling Xiao nodded as a strange look appeared in his eyes. Temple, for major tribes, this is getting closer and closer to the truth. Could this be the small world of the Scarlet Dragon War God? And the 4 major tribes, the Scarlet Dragon War God has 4 generals, Moon Mother, Spirit Sage, Buddha Lord, and Demon Sage. It seems that this world is getting more and more interesting. Sister Moon Goddess, do you have any relationship with one of the 4 divine generals, the Moon Mother? Phoenix Maiden looked at Moon Goddess and asked in shock. You're thinking too much, how is that possible? Moon Goddess smiled gently, but that smile seemed a little forced. No matter what, this is an opportunity. As long as we go to the Moon tribe to take a look, perhaps we can learn more about the truth. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he slowly said. Moon Mother, are you really going to the Moon tribe? Grandpa will definitely be very happy, everyone will be very happy. Grandpa said that as long as Moon Mother descends, you can lead us to defeat the evil demon tribe. Yu Xiaoxi suddenly became excited, her big eyes twinkled and her long eyelashes flickered, looking very cute. Ling Xiao, Phoenix Maiden, and Moon Goddess discussed for a while and decided to go to the Moon tribe to take a look. And Long Outyen's inheritance had reached a critical moment. Ling Xiao and the others waited for another 3 days. 3 days later, the golden cocoon emitted a dazzling light as millions of divine rays bloomed. The golden cocoon split open and an 8 or 9-year-old boy jumped out. The little boy was naturally Long Outyen. His entire body emitted a resplendent light, and there were divine dragons coiling around him, making him look extremely mysterious. When Ling Xiao saw Long Outyen's cultivation state, his eyeballs nearly popped out of their sockets. To think that this fella had broken through to the half-step supreme state in one go. Moreover, when that majestic and terrifying bloodline power erupted, even Ling Xiao felt his heart palpitate. Could this fellow have condensed the divine dragon bloodline? Ling Xiao clicked his tongue inwardly. Although he had devoured a divine dragon bloodline, he had only stabilized the true dragon bloodline in his body. His bloodline had not changed, but the rainbow blood pearl in his heart had grown slightly larger. The rainbow-colored blood bead that used to be the size of a grain of rice had now become the size of a baby's fist. It flowed with a mysterious light and was dazzling, providing Ling Xiao with boundless vitality. Long Outyen's bloodline aura was something that even Ling Xiao could not see through. Cousin, take my 10,000 dragons god-slaying technique. Ha ha ha. Long Ao Tian laughed loudly. Suddenly, he threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Roar! A dragon's roar shook the heavens. A golden dragon condensed on Long Outyen's fist. It exploded with a terrifying killing force and charged at Ling Xiao. 10,000 Dragons God-slaying technique? Good timing. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. He also threw out a palm, and a dragon charged at Long Outyen. Damn, cousin, how do you know the 10,000 Dragons God-slaying technique? Long Outyen screamed as though he had seen a ghost. Rumble. When the fist and the palm collided, the heavens and the earth rumbled. The two golden dragons exploded at the same time. The earth trembled violently, and the dazzling divine light disappeared at the same time. Ling Xiao's figure did not change, but Long Outyen somersaulted a few times in the void before regaining his balance. Cousin, you have also obtained the Imperial Dragon Scripture and the 10,000 Dragons God-slaying technique? Long Outyen asked. That's right. Ling Xiao nodded with a smile. What a freak. But only now did I know that this is the complete Imperial Dragon Scripture and the 10,000 Dragons God-slaying technique. Amazing. Let's see who dares to act tough in front of me in the future. That Zhao Ritian, I'll beat him up every time I see him. Long Outyen said arrogantly. Alright, don't be so cocky. We should go. Ling Xiao slapped Long Outyen's head. Buzz. Ling Xiao kept the huge divine dragon's bone. When he returned to the Crystal Palace, he could bury the divine dragon's bone in the dragon transformation pool or the dragon tomb. It could be considered as fulfilling one of Senior Long Ang's wishes. Most importantly, the Imperial Dragon Scripture and the 10,000 Dragons God-slaying technique finally had a successor. This little sister is so pretty. How old is she? Are you betrothed to someone? Long Outyen's eyes lit up when he saw Yu Xiaoxi. He said with a smile. Little hooligan. Yu Xiaoxi glared at him and said angrily. Yu Xiaoxi was only 14 or 15 years old, but Long Outyen was only 8 or 9 years old. He was already acting like he was flirting with an innocent woman. It was funny no matter how one looked at it. I'm not a hooligan. Little sister, I'm the future leader of the dragon tribe. I'll surpass all the ancestors of the dragon tribe and become the #1 dragon in the universe, Long Outyen. If you become my wife, you'll definitely be glorious. Long Outyen patted his chest and said with a smile on his face. Humph. Yu Xiaoxi snorted coldly and simply turned her head away, no longer paying attention to him. Shut up. Ling Xiao glared at Long Outyen with a headache. Only then did Long Outyen stop talking. The 5 of them left the valley and headed toward the Moon Tribe according to the direction Yu Xiaoxi had pointed out. The Moon Tribe was hundreds of thousands of miles away from here. It was located on a plain at the end of the mountain range. Ling Xiao rode the sky-devouring sword and turned into a stream of light. He was extremely fast and headed toward the Moon Tribe. Below them was a continuous mountain range. Divine mountains rose from the ground and pierced the clouds, exuding a majestic and vigorous aura. In the mountain range, ancient trees towered into the sky and clouds lingered. Powerful demonic beasts roared and their fierce auras shook the heavens and earth. Along the way, Long Outyen was eager to jump down and kill a few powerful beasts. However, he was stopped by Ling Xiao. However, the sky was not safe. Many powerful flying demonic beasts discovered Ling Xiao and the others. Long Outyen volunteered to kill the powerful demonic beasts along the way. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, was happy to be free. After Long Outyen killed the beasts, he would store the corpses and give them to Ling Xiao to cook. Chapter 772. Just like that, Ling Xiao and the rest cultivated as they traveled. The task of killing the beasts was left to Long Outyen. In the beginning, Yu Xiaoxi was still a little reserved. However, she began to get familiar with Ling Xiao and the rest. She even fought with Long Outyen for food. Even Ling Xiao was a little surprised. This skinny little girl ate like a demonic beast. The huge demonic beast leg was swallowed into her stomach in just a few bites. After eating, the little girl began to sleep. The essence within the meat automatically melted in her body, allowing her cultivation to slowly improve. Xiaoxi's physique is not ordinary. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he spoke slowly. That's right. It's like the legendary lunar eclipse physique. It devours the essence of heaven and earth and the vitality of living beings to cultivate and grow. It's like the legendary Tao Tai. Moon God nodded. Lunar eclipse physique. No wonder this silly girl can eat so much. She's just a pig. Long Outyen said with some resentment. Because Yu Xiaoxi always fought with him for food, he changed the way he addressed Yu Xiaoxi from little sister to silly girl. A few days later, they had already flown over 100,000 miles. The mountain range below gradually became beautiful. It was not like the mountain range in the depths, which was desolate, ancient, and inaccessible. Roar! A powerful beast roar resounded. In the mountain range below, countless towering ancient trees collapsed and turned into dust. A huge black bear that was over 100 feet tall charged out of the mountain range. Its fur was like steel needles, and it emitted an extremely ferocious aura. Its eyes were incomparably red, filled with bloodthirst and cruelty. In front of the black bear, there were over a dozen strong men in beast skins. They held bows and spears in their hands and were running for their lives. Their eyes were filled with despair. Ling Xiao could see that the black bear's aura was extremely terrifying. It was already a powerful half-step demon venerable. It was not far from becoming a true demon venerable. As for those strong men, their cultivation ranged from the monarch realm to the half-step supreme realm. Most of them were heavily injured, so they were no match for the black bear. The primordial variant, the demonic earth bear. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of light as he spoke slowly. Cousin, should we make a move? This demonic earth bear is really powerful. I really want to compete with it. I want to see if it's stronger, or if I, Long Outyen, am stronger. Rumble. The earth trembled, and the countless towering ancient trees and small hills that stood in front of the demonic earth bear were all smashed into powder by its rampage. When the huge bear paw was swung out, even a boulder of a few million pounds would be crushed in an instant. Yu Xiaoxi was also awakened by this huge commotion. When she saw the dozen strong men below, she immediately panicked. She hurriedly said, Big Brother Ling, those are my people from the Moon Tribe. I beg you, please save them. People from the Moon Tribe? Ao Tian, kill that black bear. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he spoke without hesitation. Alright, cousin, just watch. Long Outyen suddenly jumped up as if he was injected with chicken blood. His eyes were filled with excitement as he turned into a ray of golden light and rushed towards the demonic earth bear. The dozen people from the Moon Tribe also saw Long Outyen. Immediately, their eyes were filled with anxiety as they shouted, Child, run. You're no match for that black bear. Hee hee, uncles, watch me kill this beast for you. Long Outyen said coquettishly as he rushed towards the black bear at an even faster speed. Seeing Long Outyen rushing over, the black bear didn't even look at him as it swung its paw at him. Bastard, how dare you look down on me? Long Outyen was instantly enraged. Rumble. Long Outyen's body emitted a bright light as he punched the air. Suddenly, a vast dragon's aura exploded as a golden dragon rushed towards the demonic earth bear. Thousand Dragons God-slaying technique. Long Outyen felt that he was being looked down on by the demonic earth bear. He was furious and immediately used his killer move. Roar. The demonic earth bear's body trembled as a trace of fear appeared in its eyes. It suddenly roared as black demonic chi rose around its body as it spat out a ray of black divine light from its mouth. There was a black demonic pill floating there, containing an incomparably terrifying power. Clearly, the demonic earth bear also felt the danger. Facing the Thousand Dragons God-slaying technique, it even spat out its demonic pill. Rumble. A terrifying divine light exploded. Long Outyen's punch was incomparably terrifying. It actually broke through the black demonic chi and landed on the demonic pill. Crack. The demonic earth bear's demonic pill exploded. Long Outyen's momentum didn't decrease. His body was like a flash of golden lightning as he directly pierced through the demonic earth bear's chest. A huge hole appeared in the demonic earth bear's chest as its heart exploded into pieces. Roar! However, the demonic earth bear's vitality was extremely strong. This kind of injury wasn't enough to kill it, but it was enough to scare it out of its wits. It roared at Long Outyen and was so frightened that it turned around and ran. You want to run? I want to eat grilled bear paws. Get back here. Long Outyen roared and instantly chased after the demonic earth bear. Rumble. A terrifying battle broke out. Countless towering ancient trees collapsed and rocks flew everywhere. However, the demonic earth bear was still killed by Long Outyen in the end. Its huge body slammed heavily onto the ground, and it died. Until its death, the demonic earth bear's eyes were still filled with disbelief. It couldn't believe that such a small ant could kill it. As for the dozen or so burly men of the Moon tribe, they were all dumbfounded. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. An 8 or 9-year-old boy was actually so violent that he killed an earth demon bear with brute force. Who was this little boy? Could it be that he was a divine beast's cub? Rumble. Long Outyen walked towards them with the demonic earth bear's corpse in his hand. His eyes were filled with pride. His huge body exuded a ferocious aura that made the dozen or so burly men feel as if they were dreaming. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. At this moment, Ling Xiao brought Phoenix Maiden, Yueshan, and Yu Xiaoxi down from the void. Outsiders. The burly man in the lead was extremely burly. He held a mountain-splitting axe in his hand, and his body was filled with muscles. When he saw Ling Xiao and the others, his expression changed instantly, revealing a deep sense of vigilance. As for the dozen or so burly men of the Moon tribe, they instantly picked up their weapons and stared at Ling Xiao and the others warily. Uncle Iron, they are good people, not bad people. They saved me. Chapter 773. Xiaoxi. Why are you here? Come over quickly. None of the outsiders are good. The middle-aged man with the mountain axe said anxiously. Uncle Tai, they are really not bad people. They saved me. Yu Xiaoxi told him how she ran away from home, how she was caught by the people from Ming Wang Temple, and how she was saved by Ling Xiao and the others. Did they really save you? The middle-aged man with the mountain-splitting axe was a little skeptical, but the vigilance in his eyes gradually relaxed. Yes, Uncle Tai. I even met Lady Moon Mother. Look, isn't she exactly the same as Lady Moon Mother? Yu Xiaoxi said quickly and dragged Moon Goddess out. Moon Mother. It's really Moon Mother. When the men of the Moon tribe saw the Moon God, they were stunned. Their faces were filled with joy. Their eyes were sincere and respectful as they knelt down in front of Moon Goddess. I'm not your Moon Mother. Everyone, please get up. Moon Goddess said helplessly. The middle-aged man with the mountain axe was called Yutai. Although he was shocked, he did not kneel down. Instead, he asked doubtfully, You're only a half-step to Supreme Martial Artist. You're not Moon Mother. Who are you? Why do you look so much like Moon Mother? Yutai was also a half-step to Supreme Martial Artist, which was similar to Moon Goddess. Hence, although he was shocked by Moon Goddess' appearance, he did not kneel down like the other men. I'm the Holy Maiden of Moon Palace. My name is Moon Goddess. Moon Goddess said faintly. Moon Goddess. Moon Goddess. Could this be God's will? Lady, thank you for saving Xiaoxi. Please follow me back to Moon Tribe. Perhaps only the old tribe leader will know if you're Moon Mother. Yutai sighed. His face was filled with excitement, but he still calmed himself down and said. Uncle Tai, how did you guys get so badly injured? Yu Xiaoxi asked worriedly. There was a bloody wound on Yutai's chest, which was filled with a layer of purple murderous aura. The strong men were also injured and looked extremely weak. This is star power. Did you meet the people from Star Palace? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at Yu Tai. I don't know which force they belong to. I only know that they can communicate with the power of the stars. When they met us, they attacked us without saying anything. They tried to force us to tell them the whereabouts of the longevity grass. But we don't even know what longevity grass is. Yue Tai said with a wry smile. To be able to communicate with the power of stars, he must be from Star Palace. I didn't expect them to be looking for the longevity grass as well. Ling Xiao furrowed his brows. Previously, Mu Tianji had given him the whereabouts of the longevity grass. It seemed that this supreme divine herb was also being targeted by other martial holy lands. Even the Star Palace was looking for the longevity grass. Back then, Mu Tianji had only given Ling Xiao a rough map which stated that the longevity grass was located in the east of the Great Lake, north of the Long River, the intersection of two mountains, and the dragon vein nurtures the spirit. Ever since Ling Xiao entered the time cave, he didn't find any clues. Could it be that the longevity grass was nearby? People from Star Palace? Could it be Ziwei Xingzi and Sky-Burning Monster Emperor? Those bastards are not good people. If I see them, I will teach them a lesson. Long Outyen said proudly. Swoosh! Light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand and more than 10 green elixirs fell into the hands of Yue Tai and the rest. These are healing elixirs. Take them and you will recover quickly. Ling Xiao said. These were all from Jialan Mingfei. There were more than 100 Great Path elixirs. Ling Xiao didn't feel the pinch at all. Healing elixirs? I didn't expect you to be a great alchemist. Sorry for the disrespect. Yue Tai looked at the elixirs in his hand and was shocked. He looked at Ling Xiao with respect. Isn't this just an ordinary elixir? Do you have such a treasure? Long Outyen asked, puzzled. You don't know. In the time cave, there are too few people who can refine elixirs and weapons. Yue Tai sighed softly and said helplessly. Although the ancient Yi tribe in the time cave had powerful martial arts, much of the knowledge of refining elixirs and weapons had been lost or was in the hands of experts. Ordinary people couldn't come into contact with them. Take the alchemist for example. In the entire Moon tribe, only the old clan leader knew how to refine elixirs. Hence, elixirs that were ordinary to Ling Xiao and the rest were extremely precious to Yue Tai. The mountain-splitting axe that Yue Tai used was an ancient doctrine weapon. As for the weapons in the hands of the other big men, some of them were just ordinary spiritual weapons. They had powerful strength, but they did not have the corresponding divine weapons. After Yue Tai and the rest of the Moon tribe swallowed the elixirs that Ling Xiao gave them, their injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In fact, even without the elixirs, these ancient Yi tribe people had strong vitality and strong physiques. They would recover in no time. Alright, Uncle Tai, let's go back to the tribe. Yu Xiaoxi urged. Xiaoxi, why are you in such a hurry to go back? You sneaked out this time. Let's see how your grandfather will deal with you when we get back. Yue Tai said with a smile. Uncle Tai, I've found the Moon Mother. Not only am I not at fault, but I've also done a meritorious deed. Grandfather definitely won't punish me. Yu Xiaoxi said with a smile. You. Yue Tai shook his head helplessly. Under Yue Tai's lead, Ling Xiao and the rest passed through a huge mountain range in front of them and saw a vast plain. There was a huge stone city in front of them. It looked ancient and weathered, like a huge fierce beast that was hibernating on the ground. Ling Xiao could feel the vibrations of a powerful ancient god formation. Seemed like there was an utmost powerful being who had carved out a formation in this city in order to protect the living beings within this city. Above the huge city gate, there were 3 ancient words. City of the Moon. That's the City of the Moon, the holy city of our Moon tribe. Yu Xiaoxi said proudly. At the city gate, there were a few strong men wearing animal skins and holding weapons. Each of them had strong vitality and sharp eyes. When they saw Yue Tai and the rest return, they immediately revealed looks of joy. Commander Tai, you're back. It seems that the harvest this time is not small. The strong men said with a smile. Looking at the huge fierce beasts carried by Yue Tai and the rest, especially the earth demonic bear that Long Out Yen was dragging, they felt incomparably shocked. At the same time, they looked at Ling Xiao and the rest with some vigilance. The aura of the outsiders was completely different from theirs. They could easily distinguish them. Don't say any more. This time, we suffered a great loss and even lost a few brothers. You don't have to worry. These distinguished guests are good friends of our Moon tribe. They saved Xiaoxi. Where's the old chief? I want to see him. Yue Tai sighed softly and said to the strong men. Chapter 774. The old patriarch is in the Moon Mother's divine palace. Commander Tai, please. The men let Yue Tai into the city of the moon. The city of the moon looked spacious and clean. There were huge stone houses on both sides, and they emanated an ancient and rough aura. Yue Tai looked at Ling Xiao and the moon goddess and said, Esteemed guests, please come with me to the divine palace to see the old patriarch. Commander Yu, please lead the way. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile, a faint light flashing in his eyes. The city of the moon wasn't large, and it covered an area of 50 kilometers. According to Yu Xiaoxi, the entire Moon tribe only had a little over 20,000 people. Ling Xiao could sense that most of the members of the Moon tribe were very strong. All of them had boundless vitality, and the adult men were at least at the noble realm or the monarch realm. There were even many half-step exalts in the city of the moon. Ling Xiao could even sense a few obscure and powerful auras. They were the exalts of the Moon tribe. The entire Moon tribe was comparable to a holy land of the martial Dao in the outside world. Under Yue Tai and Yu Xiaoxi's lead, Ling Xiao, the Phoenix Maiden, the Moon Goddess, and Long Out Yen passed through the spacious streets and walked towards the center of the city. After passing through a group of buildings, the scene before them suddenly opened up. This was a vast plaza, paved with a type of silver stone. It looked clean and tidy, and emitted rays of resplendent light. Sister Moon Goddess, look at that statue. The Phoenix Maiden's gaze shook as she pointed towards the center of the square. At the center of the square stood a statue that was over 300 meters tall. It was a woman in a white robe. Her skin was snow white, her figure was tall, and her face was beautiful. There was a full moon behind her, and her eyes were deep and dazzling as she looked into the distance. Her entire body emanated a holy and mysterious aura. It was awe-inspiring and inviolable, and it made one feel a sense of worship at a glance. Most importantly, the woman's appearance was exactly the same as the Moon Goddess. Even her aura was extremely similar. Sister Moon Goddess, this is the Moon Mother. I didn't lie to you, right? Yu Xiaoxi looked at the statue with admiration. Ling Xiao, Phoenix Maiden, and Long Out Yen stared at the statue in front of them in astonishment. They were too similar, or rather, they were the same person. Could it be that the Moon Goddess was the reincarnation of the Moon Mother? Ling Xiao glanced at the Moon God with a strange look in his eyes. Moon God's eyes looked confused. She slowly walked toward the statue. Wang! The statue suddenly began to tremble, and a bright light spread out. A faint halo fell, as if the holy moonlight was floating down. The statue seemed to have come alive. Almost everyone had a feeling that the statue's eyes were staring at the Moon God. Moon God's body trembled. Her whole body glowed with light. A mysterious wave seemed to resonate with the statue. Rumble. At the end of the square, the Black Palace instantly opened. An old man with white hair and a beard slowly walked out of the palace, holding a cane. He was wearing hemp clothes. He looked at Moon God and did not seem surprised. You're back. The old voice was extremely gentle as it reverberated in the square. Who am I? Moon God's eyes were filled with confusion as she asked softly. You are you, and you are also the Moon Mother. The old man in the linen robe said slowly. Brother Ling, he's my grandfather, and also the chief of the Moon tribe. Grandfather doesn't seem surprised at all. Could it be that he already knew that Sister Moon God would come? Yu Xiaoxi said in surprise. Ling Xiao looked deeply at the old man in the linen robe. The chief of the Moon tribe, Yu Chongshan, had an unfathomable aura. It was very likely that he had already become a titled supreme. The most powerful person in the Moon tribe was shrouded in a layer of aura that even Ling Xiao couldn't see through. Moon Mother, is it? No, I'm not her. I'm Moon God. Moon God's eyes showed a hint of pain as she struggled to speak. Child, some responsibilities can't be avoided. Some things can only be borne by one person. No matter who you are, you're back. After 1,000,000 years, it will be another reincarnation. Are you ready? Yu Chongshan's eyes were as clear as water as he looked at Moon God. I don't know. Moon God shook her head. Please come in. I will answer all your questions. Yu Chongshan smiled as he looked at Ling Xiao and the others and said slowly. Especially when his gaze landed on Ling Xiao, his eyes narrowed abruptly, but he quickly regained his composure. Wang! Yu Chongshan waved his sleeve and the light on the statue dissipated. The statue slowly returned to its original state. Ling Xiao, Phoenix Maiden, and Long Outyan followed Yu Chongshan into the palace. Yu Tai bowed respectfully to Yu Chongshan, then turned and left. Yu Xiaoxi wanted to leave, but out of curiosity, she quietly followed into the palace. The palace was very spacious, but there was a faint moonlight shining down. It was as if they were in the Moon Palace. The light around them was gentle like water, with a trace of mysterious fluctuation. Xiaoxi, you're being stubborn again. If it weren't for these guests, even grandfather wouldn't have been able to save you. Yu Chongshan looked at Yu Xiaoxi sternly, but there was a hint of helplessness and affection. I know, grandfather. Didn't I bring the Moon Mother back? It's considered as making up for my mistake. Yu Xiaoxi obediently lowered her head and muttered softly. All right, it's considered a great contribution. Yu Chongshan shook his head, then looked at Ling Xiao and the rest and smiled. I've embarrassed myself in front of you. May I know which part of the War God continent you're from? Ling Xiao from Changxing sect. Feng Wu from Flaming Mountain. Long Outyan from Crystal Palace. Ling Xiao, Phoenix Maiden, and Long Outyan were stunned for a moment, but they still introduced themselves. Flaming Mountain and Crystal Palace? So it's a child with the Phoenix bloodline and Dragon bloodline. But I don't think I've heard of Changxing sect before. Young friend Ling Xiao, you're not from the War God Temple. Yu Chongshan smiled. Changxing sect is just a holy land of martial arts 10,000 years ago. But it hasn't been around for long, so it's understandable that clan leader Yu doesn't know about it. But what I don't understand is why must I be from the War God Temple? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked slowly. Young friend Ling Xiao, you have the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God, but you're not from the War God Temple. This really makes me a little confused. Yu Chongshan smiled. So clan leader Yu is very familiar with the Scarlet Dragon War God and the War God Temple? Could it be that the rumors are true? That the War God Temple is the Scarlet Dragon War God's legacy? Ling Xiao was shocked. He didn't expect Yu Chongshan to know that he had the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God. He didn't know if Yu Chongshan was talking about the Divine Stone or the wordless Heavenly Book. I know a little. The Scarlet Dragon War God didn't leave behind any legacy. The War God Temple is just a villain who stole the War God's legacy. Chapter 775. Steal. Clan leader Yu, it is said that the War God Temple is the orthodoxy left behind by the Scarlet Dragon War God. They often act in the name of the Scarlet Dragon War God. In the War God Temple, there are the War God, the left and right celestial venerables, the 4 great guardian kings, and the 18 divine generals. Does clan leader Yu know about this? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he slowly asked. I think little friend Ling should have already guessed it. The Scarlet Dragon War God's 4 divine generals are the spiritual venerables, the Moon Mother, the Buddha Lord, and the demon sage. Our moon tribe is the orthodoxy of the Moon Mother. According to what we know, the Scarlet Dragon War God fought against millions of heavenly demons alone 1,000,000 years ago. In the end, he died in battle and did not leave behind any orthodoxy. The people of the War God Temple inadvertently obtained the majority of the Scarlet Dragon War God's inheritance. That is why they claim to be the orthodoxy of the Scarlet Dragon War God. However, in the beginning, perhaps they really wanted to fight against the heavenly demons from the outside. As time passed, their ambitions were gradually exposed. They are no longer the War God Temple of the past. Yu Chongshan slowly said, his eyes flashing with a trace of sharpness. Clan leader Yu, if the Moon tribe is the orthodoxy of the Moon Mother, then the other 3 tribes are the orthodoxy of the spiritual venerables, the Buddha Lord, and the demon sage? Why are you all staying in the time cave and not returning to the War God continent? Ling Xiao slowly asked. These ancient races had stayed in the time cave for 1,000,000 years and were unwilling to leave. What was their purpose? Yu Chongshan nodded and said, that's right. The other 3 tribes are the orthodoxies of the spiritual venerables, the Buddha Lord, and the demon sage. The Spirit tribe and the Buddha tribe are on the same side as us. However, the demon tribe has long been corrupted by the heavenly demons. They have long become a group of ambitious people. We stayed to protect the temple and wait for the Scarlet Dragon War God's true inheritor and descendants. The Scarlet Dragon War God's true inheritor and descendants? Could it be that you still haven't waited 1,000,000 years? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had the wordless heavenly book, which was known as the Scarlet Dragon War God's most powerful treasure. Could it be considered the Scarlet Dragon War God's true inheritor and descendants? There was also the descendant of the Scarlet Dragon War God. Ling Xiao unconsciously thought of Luo Luo. No. Yu Chongshan's eyes had a hint of vicissitudes as he slowly said, the central shrine of the time cave contains the imperial edict of the Scarlet Dragon War God. Whoever obtains the edict will be the true successor of the Scarlet Dragon War God and the true master of our 4 tribes. After Yu Chongshan finished speaking, he looked at Ling Xiao meaningfully. Scarlet Dragon War God's Imperial Edict. If Luo Luo is really the descendant of the Scarlet Dragon War God, then the reason why the War God Temple sent people to capture Luo Luo is probably because of the Scarlet Dragon War God's Imperial Edict. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. He felt that he had finally grasped a secret of the Heaven's Choice Assembly. He had never believed that the War God Temple's goal in holding the Heaven's Choice Assembly was simple. From the looks of it, the Imperial Edict was probably one of their goals. Could it be that the reason they gathered the countless geniuses of the War God continent was to select the descendants of the Scarlet Dragon War God, as well as those who could grasp the divine edict? Thinking of this, Ling Xiao began to worry. Luo Luo was currently in the Crystal Palace, but Long Lai wasn't there. If the War God Temple was determined to capture Luo Luo, the Crystal Palace wouldn't be able to resist. Then the War God Temple holding the Heaven's Choice Assembly, could it be to select the successor of the Imperial Edict? Long Outyan couldn't help but ask. I'm not sure, but it's very likely. Yu Chongshan slowly said, other than our 4 tribes guarding the shrine, there is also an old servant in the Destiny Shrine. He can control a portion of the shrine's power. Every time the time cave opens, it should be him who operates it. The mission of our 4 tribes is to wait for the Scarlet Dragon War God's successor or descendant to appear. As for other things, we don't participate. However, in the Heaven's Choice Assembly that is held every 1,000 years, you outsiders will cause a large number of massacres. Therefore, we ancient races stay away from you and even view you as an enemy. Ling Xiao nodded. Yu Chongshan's words had answered most of his questions. Next, he asked the most important question, is the Moon Goddess really the reincarnation of the Moon Mother? When Ling Xiao asked this question, the Moon Goddess' body trembled. Everyone stared at Yu Chongshan, not saying a word. No. Yu Chongshan smiled faintly. His answer allowed Ling Xiao and the Moon Goddess to heave a sigh of relief. However, what he said next caused everyone's hearts to skip a beat. The moon goddess is not the reincarnation of the moon mother, it is the moon mother. What? The moon goddess and phoenix maiden trembled and couldn't help but stand up. Calm down and listen to my explanation. Yu Chongshan said calmly, in the great calamity a million years ago, the scarlet dragon war god died in battle, but he saved the 4 divine generals. After that battle, the 4 divine generals were heavily injured and fell into a deep slumber. According to the records of our moon tribe, the moon mother also fell into a deep slumber. She only left behind a trace of spiritual energy to develop. Her primordial spirit is in deep slumber and recuperating. Therefore, this moon goddess is the manifestation of the spiritual energy left behind by the moon mother. The real moon mother is in deep slumber in her body. She may be in deep slumber for a long time, or it may be very short. No one knows. The truth may be cruel, but it is the truth. Yu Chongshan's words caused the moon goddess' face to turn pale. To her, this result was extremely cruel. If the moon goddess was the reincarnation of the moon mother, it would be fine. However, Yu Chongshan said that the moon goddess' primordial spirit was only a trace of spiritual energy left behind by the moon mother. This meant that if the moon mother woke up, the moon goddess would die at any time. That would be no different from dying for real. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had long sensed that there was a mysterious force in the moon goddess body. According to what Yu Chongshan said, it was the sleeping moon mother. Leader Yu, according to what you said, when the moon mother wakes up, will the moon goddess primordial spirit completely disappear? Phoenix Maiden asked anxiously. It may be cruel, but it is true. Yu Chongshan nodded and looked at the moon goddess apologetically. This is too unfair. Why does the moon goddess have to die when the moon mother wakes up? Why can't she find another body? Why must she do this? Phoenix Maiden asked anxiously. There is no other way. You can say that Miss Yueshin's primordial spirit is a part of the moon mother's primordial spirit. She has no choice. Chapter 776. Patriarch Yu, what if we cut off Yueshin's primordial spirit from this body and rebuild it for her? Wouldn't this prevent Yueshin from being annihilated? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he slowly asked. Impossible. Miss Yueshin's primordial spirit cannot leave this body. If it does, she will die immediately. She can only wait for the moon mother to wake up. Maybe the moon mother will be merciful and leave her primordial spirit. Yu Chongshan shook his head. The possibility of this happening was very small. This news was very cruel. Phoenix Maiden and Yu Xiaoxi's eyes turned red. Don't be sad. Life and death are fated. If the moon mother wakes up, it will be a good thing. At that time, she will be able to stop the war god temple's conspiracy. Even if the sky demon comes, she will be able to stop this catastrophe. Yueshin smiled slightly. However, her face was pale and her smile was heart-wrenching. Ling Xiao frowned. This was an unsolvable answer. He naturally didn't want Yueshin to be annihilated. Even the moon mother didn't have the qualifications to do so. Grandpa, is there really no way? Sister Yueshin is very good. I don't want her to die like this. Yu Xiaoxi said coquettishly as she hugged Yu Chongshan's arm. Her eyes were full of guilt. This little girl was kind-hearted. She probably thought that it was because he brought Yueshin back to the moon tribe that she learned this cruel news. Maybe there is a way, but I can't be sure. Yu Chongshan's eyes flashed with a trace of light. What way? Grandpa, tell me quickly. Yu Xiaoxi's eyes lit up. Yu Chongshan looked at Ling Xiao meaningfully and said, if this little friend Ling can obtain the Scarlet Dragon War God's imperial decree, maybe there will be a way in the Flowing Time Temple. The Scarlet Dragon War God's imperial decree. Ling Xiao nodded with a trace of decisiveness in his eyes. Although the Heavenly Selection Convention had been held so many times, it seemed that no one could obtain the imperial decree. However, Ling Xiao had the wordless heavenly book. Patriarch Yu, why are you so sure that I can obtain the imperial decree? Ling Xiao looked at Yu Chongshan with some doubt. Feeling. Yu Chongshan smiled. Most importantly, I also hate the War God Temple. I don't want our 4 tribes to have to listen to the War God Temple. Ling Xiao nodded. After chatting for a while, they left the divine palace. The moon goddess did not seem to be affected. Her temperament was still cold, and her face was beautiful. Her expression was calm. However, Phoenix Maiden and Yu Xiaoxi were very worried. Their eyes were slightly red. However, Yu Chongshan's words gave them a glimmer of hope. They all hoped that Ling Xiao would be able to obtain the Scarlet Dragon Wargod's imperial decree. Ling Xiao also took the opportunity to ask Yu Chongshan about the whereabouts of the longevity grass. As expected, there was indeed such a place around the Moon Tribe. To the east of the Great Swamp, to the north of the Long River, 2 mountains converged, and the dragon vein nurtured the spirit. According to Yu Chongshan, there was a mountain range 30,000 li north of the Moon Tribe. The terrain there matched the description of these words. Ling Xiao immediately decided to search for the longevity grass. The people of the Star Palace were already nearby. If they were the first to find the longevity grass, it would be troublesome. He absolutely had to obtain this supreme divine medicine. The longevity grass was the legendary divine herb left behind by Dugu Qiubai. Ling Xiao even faintly felt that if he could find the longevity grass, he might be able to find the true inheritance of Dugu Qiubai. Although the divine sword technique, demonic sword supreme sutra, and longevity sword aura were the 3 great sword techniques created by Dugu Qiubai when he was young, middle-aged, and old, they were not the true inheritance of Dugu Qiubai. Ling Xiao also wanted to see what kind of demeanor Dugu Qiubai, who had dominated the heavens and swept across the 8 barren lands, was like. Ling Xiao told them that he was going to look for the longevity grass. Phoenix Lady, Moon God, and Long Outyen all wanted to go with Ling Xiao. Long Outyen, in particular, was the happiest. He was the most enthusiastic when it came to treasure hunting. You guys don't have to go. It's more convenient for me to go alone. Moreover, we found traces of the Star Palace. It's inevitable that other martial arts holy lands have their eyes on the longevity grass. You guys should stay in the Moon City for now. Ling Xiao looked at the 3 of them and said slowly. Cousin, don't look down on me. I, Long Outyen, have inherited the divine dragon's inheritance. My 1,000 dragons god-slaying technique can slay demons and gods. What bullshit Star Palace? I can beat them all. Long Outyen said arrogantly and insisted on going. The 3 of you have advanced to half-step supreme being and can pass through the Earth's calamity. My Moon City has a Xianhuang Mother Energy Pool that can help you pass through the Earth's calamity. To thank the 3 of you for saving Shaoxi, I can make an exception and let you enter the Xianhuang Mother Energy Pool to cultivate. Yu Chongshan looked at Phoenix Maiden, Moon Goddess, and Long Outyen and said with a smile. Xianhuang Mother Energy Pool. I'll agree on their behalf. Thank you, Clan Leader Yu. Ling Xiao knew that this was Yu Chongshan's good intentions and immediately agreed without any explanation. In the end, Phoenix Maiden and Moon Goddess nodded their heads. Long Outyen also agreed helplessly. In the Time Moon Cave, there were dangers everywhere. It was also a good thing to be able to increase one's cultivation as much as possible. After arranging everything, Ling Xiao bid farewell to Yu Chongshan and left the Moon City. A new war god is about to be born. It seems like our 4 major tribes can finally return to our homeland. Yu Chongshan looked at Ling Xiao's departing figure and muttered to himself. There was a trace of anticipation in his eyes. After Ling Xiao left the Moon City, he used a secret teleportation technique and headed towards the vast mountain range in the north. His speed was extremely fast and he used the sky-devouring secret technique to conceal his aura. Therefore, he didn't alarm any powerful beasts. The mountain range below was vast and majestic. Numerous mountains rose steeply from the ground, their precipitous peaks piercing through the clouds. Ancient trees towered into the sky, and clouds and mist coiled around them, containing the boundless essence of heaven and earth. It was like an ancient mythological world, uncivilized and ancient. Powerful beasts and primordial species that couldn't be seen in the war god continent were actually abundant in this mountain range. Powerful beasts swallowed the essence of heaven and earth. Their roars shook the heavens and earth. Some even fought in the mountain range, shattering countless mountains. Ling Xiao used his extreme speed and crossed 30,000 miles in a few hours. He arrived at an unfamiliar mountain range. To the east of the Great Swamp, to the north of the Long River, two mountains converge and the dragon vein nourishes the spirit. Looks like it should be in that area. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he saw a vast river in front of him. It rushed out from the mountain range and was at least 100 miles wide. Huge waves surged into the sky and water vapor filled the air. It was extremely majestic. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.